Chat. All messages ago. The Diddy man. Looks like he's not going to be in much trouble. Looks like. Please like, share, subscribe if you haven't. There's some other things that have occurred, though, too. Wait till we get a few people in here. He was also denied bail. We're going to check it out right now. I don't think he's going to do much. I'll let some people get in here. I'll stop playing the news clip right now so you can know what the final verdict was. And then we'll see why he wasn't granted bail. And then we will see, we'll talk and shoot the shit. And we'll see some other different things. How long his case, how much jail time he may face based on what he's guilty of. I don't think he's going to do much. I kind of said that from the beginning. Well, the beginning of the trial. When they first caught him, I thought he was fucked. Once I saw how the trial started going down, I knew he wasn't going to get hit with half this shit. You could just tell. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. So people that want to know.
And not guilty, acquitted on 3, including the most serious of charges. Ashley Banfield joins us now, my colleague and friend. Ashley, you have covered this extensively since the beginning. You know, it's been unfortunate that the public can't see what's going on inside the courtroom or hear what's going on because it's a federal case. However, you've talked to a lot of people who are very close to this case. Are you, one, surprised by the verdict? And two, how you expect the defense to try to get a lesser sentence for Diddy?
Yeah, I am. I'm as surprised at this as I was at Brian Kohberger's plea deal, because I followed every letter of the law in the testimony and watching the exhibits, Marnie, and I checked every box. I just find it shocking that a jury couldn't put this together. But I'm sort of reminded of the long journey for women's sex rights, should I say, because in my lifetime, a wife couldn't be raped by her husband, right? And so I sort of look at this as though a jury saw girlfriends can't be sex trafficked. A jury saw that if you're willing,
wow, this lady has a strong take,
or 1 year, and you're unwilling in another day or another month or a year, that doesn't count. And so that's what's, I think, really troubling to me on this. And I think that no matter what, the government is certainly going to push for the maximum. I believe it's 10 years for the Mann Act federally for each count. And these are not the kinds of counts that you look at concurrently, right? Because these are different. They are different days. They are different victims. So these could be easily consecutive sentences, which would mean maximum 10 years each, which would mean a 20-year sentence. And in the federal system, you don't get as much time off for good behavior. You know, you serve a lot of your federal sentences. So if he gets the max for each and he gets 20 years because it's consecutive, he would probably have to serve, I'm going to ballpark here, like 18. But yeah, I'm really astounded at this, Marnie.
Right. And the prosecution's challenge to get a guilty verdict was connecting the dots that, okay, you could show the video, you could have the testimony from these victims on the stand that was horrific, but was a criminal act carried out? I mean, it was a stretch by many legal accounts to try to get a guilty verdict on the RICO charge. But you listened to the testimony and you talked to people close to the case. What was most compelling about what they shared bravely on the stand against their will for years?
I didn't think it was a stretch to get RICO at all. In fact, when I saw that question, Marnie, if somebody asks for drugs and then the defendant gives drugs, is that distribution? Yes. It is, I mean, it's just common sense, right?
Well, it's also
So
because
they were
who's asking,
clearly-
right? Who's asking? I mean, it's Sean Diddy Combs. It's a celebrity. He's got power. He's got clout. He's got authority
so
over you.
the idea here is that if the defendant is facing distribution of drugs, and that's one of the predicate acts under the RICO statute. I mean, yes, if you handed the drugs over, it doesn't matter if somebody asked, you handed them over, that's distribution. So when I saw that question, I thought, well, they're going to clearly be instructed. Here's the law. Yeah. And so it looked as though they had that predicate act checked, that they clearly knew that he handed the drugs over. They just wanted to know if
It's a
somebody
technicality
asked,
the
did
jury
it
overlooked.
mitigate that in some way. And the law that was given to them, told them, no, it doesn't mitigate it. Then they believed in the Mann Act. They believed in the prostitution and the illegal sex acts. What is just confounding to me is that they didn't see a kidnapping. There were 2 instances where there were other witnesses who corroborated. They didn't see bribery. There were multiple witnesses who talked about bribery. There were multiple witnesses from the Intercontinental Hotel who said, first he tried to bribe me, I said no. Then he went to my bosses and we said no. Then we went to the bosses again and we said yes, and there was a big bag of money. And there were multiple witnesses and a lot of testimony. There's 2 acts right there, Marnie. 2 acts satisfies RICO over the course of 10 years, and all you needed was an enterprise. And an enterprise didn't need to be a financial enterprise. It just needed to be a group of people who agreed. And there were 3 of Sean Diddy Combs' enterprise present, according to multiple witnesses. Sean, KK, and his bodyguard. I just don't understand how they didn't get to RICO. And I'm shocked at sex trafficking. I'm sad. I'm sad about the sex trafficking because those women were browbeaten into doing horrible things that they said they didn't want
How
to
do
do.
you
They
know?
may have wanted to do it originally when the love bombing happened.
How do you know?
They may have wanted to do it. That's fine. But when the love bombing didn't happen,
How do you
and
know?
they were forced into it, suddenly we're
This
back
is a
to
woman's
you
view
with your wife. That's
from
how
News
I
Nation.
feel about the mentality of seeing whether you can sex traffic your girlfriend.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and down.
Some of what she said made sense, some of it not so much. I also have another clip I want to show you. The judge denied his bail, and I believe the charges he's found guilty of, he can get a max of 10 years. I doubt he's going to get 10 years. I doubt he gets anything.
He has now denied bail for Diddy. So bail is denied for Sean Combs. I want to bring in Misty Maris, our legal analyst. I want to bring back in Rahima Ellis. Rahima, what happened? Because I think as of about 6 minutes ago, the judge wasn't even in the room. This happened really quickly.
It happened very quickly, Hallie. The judge had sat down at the bench and he wasted no time talking about, I'm going to read this because it's important. The government notes that the appropriate provision that makes detention the appropriate remedy. The defendant must prove he poses no risk of flight or danger to anyone in the community. The Second Circuit has made clear that there are situations that are out of the ordinary and which noted that the circumstances are personal, do not warrant a release. For that reason, the government submission there is the court disagrees with the defense and does not trigger mandatory. There is no ambiguity to the rule in the defense favor. If the defendant was able to say that he is not a danger to the community, he could not meet that burden. Once again, took him no time to do this.
A minute.
He has denied bail. A minute, Hallie. I was looking to see, because, things are coming very quickly, what the reaction would be from, there's a large crowd that is gathered across the street. They put up extra barricades. They brought out extra police in anticipation that Sean Diddy Combs would be walking out of that front door of the courthouse. That is not going to happen. He is going to be sent back to detention in Brooklyn, where he has been since September, 9 months already, and it's going to be a little while longer.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated.
That surprises me.
NBC News chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel has made.
That surprises me. I don't know if it surprises you guys. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the chat. I think a bunch of different things on both ends of it. I think a bunch of different things on both ends of it. If a regular person did this, they might not even know. If a regular person did this, they probably wouldn't get the same treatment either. And I don't know much about the judge, but I got a feeling Diddy ain't doing much time, if any. I don't think he's going to do much time, if any. I'll be shocked if the judge comes back when it's time for sentences and says you get 10 years. You already did a year, pretty much. So you got 9 years, which it will be less than 9 with good time. I'd be really surprised. And it's funny, there's people on both ends of the spectrum with this. Some people are really mad that he wasn't convicted. Some people are really happy. If people were hurt, I feel horrible. I mean, I don't know enough. None of us were there. You think it's weird, Kai? Some people thought he was like done. When it first came out, I thought he was done. But as this trial unfolded, I don't know if the jury doesn't understand the technicalities. I don't know if they overlooked him. I think it's a little weird too, because when you read the law, he did do some things that he wasn't convicted of. I don't think they had enough proof, and I think the jury was kind of fucking, I don't know. I'd like to know more about the jury. And Rico, people don't know enough about Rico. When people think Rico, they think mafia. And I don't think he was like, I think they didn't look at him like that because he's in the music industry. And it wasn't a ton of people brought up under charges or brought up by, there weren't a lot of links to Diddy brought up from what I was told and from what I've read. They couldn't prove like a lot of people did illegal shit for him over the last 10 years. Not enough for the jury to see it. Yeah, they all gave consent to go. They all gave consent to go, whether it was wrong or right. He's a freaky motherfucker. It's obvious. It's obvious, you know. But that doesn't make you a fucking Rico. It doesn't make you part of some criminal organization necessarily. I think the prosecution really dropped the ball. And I think Diddy's up to some slimeball shit. But he gets away with it if nothing else. Or he's innocent. None of us are there. And unfortunately in federal court, they don't allow cameras in. So you're reading what reporters write to you. Yeah. Yeah, that's true, Guy. Yeah, people love to party. People love to party. People are freaky. People are doing drugs and shit. That's Hollywood for you. I wonder how this case would have been treated if he wasn't who he was. You know, if he wasn't who he was, he probably wouldn't be doing the shit he does either. You know, there's still some people out there that do that shit, but it's not prevalent. It's not a big fucking, it's not many, I don't think. You think so, Godfather? You think Diddy's smart enough to run that game like that? You think he's smart enough to pull off that scheme Epstein pulled off? I think they painted him as Epstein, and then when they looked into it, they realized it wasn't quite Epstein. Or they couldn't prove it. Maybe he's so fucking good at it, he plays the game. But, I mean, Diddy's not a complete fucking moron, but he's not a dummy either. And he's certainly got plenty of narcissistic tendencies that could make him a madman. No doubt about it. Yeah. Yeah. And who knows, like, if you go conspiracy theory route, this is why when we look into this stuff, I say you could go down rabbit holes for days. Maybe he was just the fall guy. They knew they didn't have nothing on him. They didn't have nothing with someone he was working with, hypothetically. I'm just making up a situation. Let him fucking go get Diddy. We'll keep getting away with it. You never know what happens. I know they make movies like that and shit, but you never fucking know. You never know. Maybe, Godfather. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm just talking hypothetically. And then there was other stuff with it too, like he was beefing with that he was beefing with the liquor company he worked with for Ciroc and his other liquor. I forget the other name of his booze. He's got a couple different ones, if I'm not mistaken. But the people that own that company at the beginning of this investigation, they were beefing over big money, hundreds of millions of dollars. And some people came out and said that that company put the heat on them intentionally. I wouldn't doubt a company with a ton of money has the influence to do something like that. If he did fuck anyone, like if he fucked anyone over really badly and got off for the things that got off for things he did that he shouldn't have, I feel really bad for the people that he did it to. Like a small part of me in this feels like this is why people don't go to the police. A small part of me, when you look at it from people's eyes that are upset, like this is why people don't go to the police. All that fucking energy that went into it for really nothing's probably going to happen. I don't think so either, Godfather. I think he's going to fucking walk out of there whenever they come back. A free man. Maybe with a little ankle monitor or something. I don't think it's going to be some big fucking deal. I think the judge is probably like, go ahead, go back to jail until sentencing, and we'll probably he probably will call it even. I don't know when sentencing is. I'll look into it. But it gives me the vibe like they're just going to give him like time served. Go back until we get sentencing over with, and then you're a free man. That's the vibe I get. Yeah, that's the thing that scares me, Godfather, is it's going to be the norm. A lot of people are pissed off. There's some people that are pissed with some heavy influence on the internet. There's some people that are fucking pissed. I don't know enough about it. I know like this and that. I don't know all the details about the RICO shit. I don't know. No, that's what sucks about the trial. Like maybe a book will come out eventually. But I don't know anyone that, like, even the reporting I seen on it was shitty. Like they tell you what happened, but they don't tell you the exact details of what was said. You know, like verbatim. They don't tell you verbatim because it can influence too much shit. So, like, for people on the outside looking in, there's a lot of gray areas. A lot of gray areas. I mean, he did fucking blow up Kid Cudi's car. People testified about it. People said it. The jury must not have just believed the shit in all reality. Sorry, my allergies are acting up a little bit. Plus having the air conditioning on, it's been hot as a motherfucker. Very humid on the East Coast. And hot. Very hot. Like abnormally hot for this early in the summer. Michael Curtis, salute. Too many big names involved, you think? That could be part of it. That's one thing I wonder about too. And could be coincidence. I don't think so. James Comey's daughter was the lead prosecutor for the fucking government. Comey went after Trump fired him. Maybe some shit was going to come out about him too. That's why he got fucking fired. James Comey and Trump fucking hate each other now. But his daughter was the fucking one. I think she was the lead prosecutor. Makes you fucking wonder. James Comey turned on Trump. Bad. And started fucking with libtards everywhere. But I want to know what other people think. And we could chat it up. So hit me up in the chat. I love to know what the internet thinks about the Diddy trial. The charges he had dropped. The charges that stuck. What you think's coming forward for him. I think he got lucky having this trial in New York too. I think this trial happening in New York saved him as well. He's got a lot of influence in that city, whether people like it or not. He's got a lot of influence worldwide. Yeah, right. You listen to people who wouldn't go to those parties? No, I haven't listened. Like, I don't know what you mean, how you're saying that. Maybe you could rephrase it. I wouldn't go to one of those freak off parties. If you're asking me if I would listen to someone's opinion that wouldn't go to one of those parties, absolutely. I wouldn't go to one of those freak off parties. No, sir. I'm too fucking shy. You kidding me? You think I could fucking bang someone with a bunch of fucking people watching? Nah. I'd be camera shy as a motherfucker. Yeah, a bunch of main celebrities are involved in that shit. I wonder how much they talked about the freak-offs. And I don't think people realized, like, I think the RICO Act, I think people looked at it like it had to be business involved, where I don't think it has to involve money, technically. But it involved money, him flying people around. He got convicted for that. But if he got convicted of that, then it should have been a RICO, because I'm sure he had staff to help him do it all. I don't think people understood the RICO charge. I think people think mafia and illegal money. I don't think they looked at this as the same. I think the jury didn't know shit about law. Or didn't read law properly. because even I said the same thing. It depends how, it's all perception. Is it drug distribution if you hand out drugs for free? It's still distribution technically, because you are the one giving them to others. That's distribution. When you move one product to another person, I would assume that's distribution, unless it's got to be a large volume. Maybe they couldn't prove it was a large volume, but technically that's distribution. I would assume anyone that understands and has vocabulary with English would get that. And that's what that woman was like. I don't get it, how people didn't see it as distribution. And we talked about it the other day, and I said the same thing. I don't know how the jury's going to look at distribution, because he was just giving it to people that said give it to him. But technically, it's still when you give someone a fucking product or a drug or whatever, you're distributing it. You are giving it to individuals, people, stores, whatever. I don't know if he got him to drug him. You know what it is, Michael? He didn't force him, allegedly. They couldn't prove that he forced him. They couldn't prove to the jury that he forced those people to take the drugs. Maybe there was a bunch of people up there that weren't fucking never done drugs in their life, that were like, oh yeah, no, there's no way you wouldn't force someone to take those drugs, you know? We've been talking about perception a lot lately on my channel. And that's what I mean. Perception is fucking everything. Yeah, well, there was and this is crazy too. There was like a fucking biological physicist or something. A very, very high, like, very, very highly educated scientist on the jury. And he couldn't understand how RICO worked. So fucking too smart. Probably too smart. Couldn't understand how the law worked. He's a fucking a biological physicist. He fucking studies fucking probably fourth and fifth dimension. The guy, but you expect trying to get him to fucking understand a law written in fucking black and white. And he's probably going off fucking down a pipe hole, a fucking rabbit hole, trying to figure out what it means. Like, these lawyers are smart when they pick juries. Very smart. And both sides get to choose, but still. Makes me fucking wonder. And New York, I'm sure, helped him. Being in New York saved his ass big time. Big time. And with all the racial tension in this country, and it's not everyone, but there's a lot of racial tension in this country. And it's provoked by all this type of shit. And the Black Lives Movement and this and that. We know all the reasons why. I don't gotta go down that. And there's a lot of people that feel like Diddy was fucking getting fucking persecuted, not prosecuted. You know, there's a fucking lot of fucking people that I've read the comments, and fucking, man, it makes me wonder of the state of society. Looking into some of this case, you read the comments. I always do to get a temperature check and see where people are. People are fucking nuts. I say it all the time. People are fucking loony nowadays. Some of the people's takes on this shit, and it could be just trolling, but I don't think it is, because people are serious as fuck, getting a couple hundred likes saying racial shit. Wild. Like fucking, they turned Diddy into fucking Jesus, some of these people. And I don't think he's quite Jesus. But you never know. We weren't there for Jesus either. This is why you become reclusive. Yeah, me a little bit too. Yeah, it's a little scary to go outside nowadays, man. I thought it had Epstein feels to it in the beginning, Michael. I did too. But it sounds like it didn't have Epstein ties. I would have loved to be a fly on the wall. I would have loved to be a fly on the wall. The Punisher, I think, spoke out about the verdict too. I want to check that video out. Imagine hiring a fucking male stripper or male sex worker named the Punisher to go bang your hot wife. Are you fucking nuts? That would be the day. But it still doesn't make him a fucking... It doesn't make Diddy what he was charged with. Technically. And that's what a lot of people said. I think they put out too much freaky shit. They thought him being a freak would get him charged with this shit. And in today's society, being a freak, people don't care. You see them waving them flags around. People changing their sexes. People don't care no more. That's part of it. And that's part of it that makes me sick. They let people have gay fucking pride parades and trans parades, dressing in leather with their ass cheeks hanging out and private parts hanging out, walking down a public fucking road on a Saturday morning with families out there. You think they care about freak? You think most of America cares about freaky shit nowadays? Unfortunately, they don't.
Convicted of
But the fucking Punisher was interviewed. Let's check this out. Reacting to the verdict. I think this should be kind of funny. The fucking Punisher. The only Punisher I know is the fucking comic book character, or a fucking Big Pun. I take Big Pun any day over this fucking piece of shit. Shout out to Big Pun, rest in peace. Shout out to his son, Christopher Rivers. His son's got a pretty good, cool show I'm going to play some of eventually and try and get him some help blowing up. Because his son can rap like a motherfucker too. But let's see what the Punisher had to say. This should be fucking great.
He has been convicted of transportation to engage in prostitution, the Mann Act violations. And today you would think that would be the end of the day. It is certainly not. Why? The judge has to determine whether or not Sean Combs should make bail, whether or not he should be released, whether or not, and we have a live shot of the courthouse, whether or not we will see him walk out of that courthouse later today. Right now, both sides are submitting paperwork to the court. We're keeping a very careful eye on the courtroom updates to see what that decision will be, because the judge is going to decide. And what the basis was for Sean Combs to be locked up.
And the judge already decided he was held without bail until sentencing. So Diddy didn't get off on bail today.
During the whole course of this criminal process, it is very different now. It is very different now because he's not facing those top charges, those violent charges, those charges that could have sent him to prison for the rest of his life. And one of the other big considerations we have when we talk about transportation to engage in prostitution, the charges that he was convicted of, is what will be his sentence. While there are maximums of 10 years in prison on each charge, and although the prosecution has said that he could face up to 20 years if they stack them one after the other, it seems highly unlikely, given a number of mitigating factors in this case. But there's also aggravating factors, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. But we're going to take your questions as we are live on air, and we update you about what is happening. But I also have with us a very special series of guests. So we have an all-star panel. We got with us Ben Shue, acclaimed litigator, famously represented Johnny Depp in his high-profile trial against Amber Heard. We also have with us criminal defense attorney and civil rights attorney Tyler Bailey. We have with us Sierra Gillespie and Elizabeth Milner.
Here's the Punisher.
We'll get to them. But right now we are also joined by Sheree Hayes. Now, for anybody who's been following this case, you will know who Mr. Hayes is, also referred to as the Punisher during the course of this case. Mr. Hayes, who's also, by the way, the author of In Search of Freezer Meat, we can talk more about that. Hayes had testified during the course of this trial about his involvement
The Punisher.
in 8 to 12 sexual encounters
Punish
that he
Cassie's
had with Cassie
ass.
Ventura Fine and Sean Combs
Willingly.
testified that Combs watched and gave directions during these events. You played a pivotal role in this case, Mr. Hayes. It's great to see you. Thanks for taking the time. Your reaction to the verdict?
I honestly thought the verdict was the correct decision. It maybe not based on following the specifics of the law, because I know the prosecutor said you just only had to find one instance where you believe.
Not for nothing, he don't sound straight. Just saying. He don't sound fucking very straight. Maybe he's bi, I don't know. But it seemed like they all said all Diddy was doing was basically being a porn director. No one can prove Diddy was doing all kinds of nasty shit. I mean, that's pretty fucking nasty anyway, but you know what I'm saying. No one said directly he was involved in it other than directing it. And they couldn't prove anyone else was like against it. It seems like. I wonder how this affects him going forward. People are still going to make him a fucking multi-billionaire by the end of his life. Because you're going to have everyone that rides with him. People are into that freaky shit. He'll probably get support from the fucking LGBTQ community now. It's like society just slipping deeper down a hole. It's okay to be a fucking freakazoid.
There's coercion. But if you're talking about a jury and the understanding that this was relationships, these were his partners, these were, they were exchanged text messages of love and care and over long periods of time. And then also a bunch of consenting also messages to the sexual activity and the type of lifestyle they lived. I thought it was going to be hard for a typical person that wasn't going to really streamline the law, extremely hypervigilant, to not see this as a relationship, domestic issue, opposed to sex trafficking. So this is actually what I expected.
To be clear, in any of your encounters, did you see any force, fraud, coercion being used to induce Cassie to engage in these sex acts?
And of course, these people are going to say no. Or either that or they didn't see it. Either that or they didn't see it. He's not going to say yes. He was involved with fucking around with her. Doing all this nasty shit. If they say they were coerced, then that makes him pretty much guilty of rape. So it's like the whole fucking trial is a fucking waste. You know what I mean? This is the sex worker hired. He says no one was coerced, and he says he was paid. There you go. Fucking easy out. And maybe no one was coerced. But of course he's not going to say anyone was coerced. He'd go to fucking jail for graping her.
Yeah, it's similar to my testimony. I did not. And so what I will even add is, I testified in the facts where I only interacted and spoke to Cassie during any of these occasions. I never had any communication with Mr. Combs. So I would be greeted in a personable one-on-one situation prior to the activities. And then again, at the conclusion. And I always found good vibes, good energies. Hey, thanks for coming. It was great. We'll see you again. Here you go. And I did not even witness anything that appeared to be under the influence
You too, Mike.
of alcohol or drugs or anything. So I did find it difficult to see my interaction being anything close to criminal.
I want to tell you what's happening outside the courthouse. CNN is reporting that people are quite excited. There are people who are gathered. They are spraying baby oil into the crowd. There are remnants of oil that could be seen on the courthouse pavement. We were reporting earlier on today that there was a verbal dispute between supporters of Sean Combs, or at least supporters of his case, and those who feel differently. When you're seeing a reaction like that outside of the courthouse, you playing a role in this case, what's your position on it? What is your view on it?
So what I think is there's a benefit of the misinformation. You know, me as a civilian, even before I was involved, before I became a witness, the social understanding of this case, they made it so much bigger than what it was. You had rumors of child trafficking. You had all of this bribery and celebrities involved and all of this crazy stuff that escalated to this belief that you was going to get this magnitude of just terrible acts.
That's true.
Not downplaying the domestic violence.
We didn't get any of that.
I think when the actual facts of this case became evident, I think people's expectation and their belief that it was going to be so much
I agree with
more,
that.
it actually minimized the victims' experiences. So now where there are still people that are victimized, regardless of the verdict, there's still bad experiences. People almost see it as a celebratory, simple scenario because everybody thought it was going to be so much worse than what it was, including myself.
Yeah.
Do you think,
listening to the banter,
do you think that your testimony helped secure the conviction for transportation to engage in prostitution? Because let's be clear, the two charges that he was convicted of, one was with respect to Cassie, and the other was with respect to Jane. Do you think your testimony helped secure the conviction against Sean Combs?
No, not at all. Not my testimony, because I was clear that my dealings with them was, I'm from New York City at the time, and I only dealt with them in a New York City area. And me being hired in the initial communications was as a male dancer. We always show up on our own. But I did hear in the testimony there was evidence of plane tickets and stuff being purchased on his American Express card for some of the other escorts. So I'm assuming that secured the conviction for those charges.
Mm-hmm. So as I mentioned to you before we were coming on, we have amazing viewers who submit incredible questions. And I have a bunch of them that a lot of people have questions for you, Mr. Hayes. So let's get right into it. All right. First question. We got a question from Jackie Reed. Did you have any direct dealings with Christina Coram or any other person other than Diddy that helped set up his freak-offs?
Actually, no. And actually, I didn't have any direct dealings with Diddy. All of my communications were specifically with Miss Ventura and Miss Ventura only. There was no conversation, no communication, no anything with Mr. Combs. And I said this before. The first time I actually even had eye contact him, for the first time, eye contact was leaving the stand after my testimony. I had zero interactions with Mr. Combs.
And by the way, I'm just going to let you know, I'm not tweaking these questions. These are the ones that are coming in, so I'm just going to read them to you. This is from an account, Smarty Pants. Thank you so much for the super chat question. Do you think Diddy was cheap with you?
Well, listen, if I'm being honest, when I hear some of the other guys getting $5,000, $6,000, obviously that would be the first thing you think. But then I don't know the scenario. I was never there more than 4 hours at a time on the average. And one thing that I will say is I came multiple days in a row. So I don't know what the criteria was to determine what my fee would be, but I was fine with it. I don't have any reservations as if I was not fairly compensated,
We've got a question. Where is this? Okay. Show and Tell Knitting asks, how will the results of this trial affect your interactions with clients like Diddy? Will you do anything differently in the future?
As far as I'm concerned, I would not do anything differently. That was a nuanced situation for me. Obviously, I'm a male dancer. My trade on a regular basis is not sex work to that degree. That was a proposition I I indulged in.
Yeah, you only did it once. This fucking dude, so, I don't know. I feel like that guy's so full of shit. I really do. I don't trust this dude at all.
So I don't really see much changing. This was a very nuanced situation. I don't think anybody predicted these scenarios escalating to what it actually became. So I don't have any full regrets of my interactions, or if I'm being honest, even.
I don't think.
Imagine the possibilities of sharing your life with a.
I don't know. Something about that dude rubs me wrong hearing him after the trial.
It was something I was a part of. It were some of our decisions, and I'm comfortable with the way everything transpired, even the negatives.
Chris Bono asks, how has this experience changed you, if at all?
Well, it put me in a scenario where I have to do damage control, right? We live in a society where you meet a person, everybody Googles you, right? So I know for the rest of my life, I'm associated with this crime and or trial, I should say, with this trial and these accusations, and I'm instrumental in it too. So all I'm doing now is I have to have a much conscious effort in how I'm perceived in my interactions with people.
Oh, you got to be more careful.
Because I could start
fucking
out
people.
in a lot of situations in a negative, opposed to.
You got to be more careful fucking people, or not do it no more. One or the other. These people I think a lot of these people got fucking the hair pulled over their eyes. I think a lot of these jurors were naive, or the prosecution did a horrible job.
What normal people do.
And I appreciate you coming on and speaking to media outlets about this, because obviously the trial wasn't testified. There was reporting. It wasn't televised, excuse me, but it wasn't. There was reporting about what the testimony was like. People might have misconceptions about what you said, why you testified. So to be able to clear the air is really important, which is why we get a question from Brooklyn Truth. What was your motivation for testifying? So to be clear, I mean, did you want to testify? Did you reach out to the government? How did that work exactly?
So I did not want to testify. The government contacted me even way before the charges, just investigators. And I actually believe that.
I didn't want to testify. Gee, I wonder why. I don't know. This fucking guy gives me bad vibes, man. I gotta be honest. I could be fucking reaching. But like, he's a fucking sex worker. He's not gonna fucking give him too much information. If he was forced to do something to her in any type of way, shape, or form, he wouldn't say he did it, because he's open up. He could get fucking charged with rape. This fucking jury, man, must have been stupid as fuck. Or this jury didn't have good direction on how law works from the prosecution. Unbelievable.
My testimony was going to be insignificant. You know, I explained to them I didn't see any violence. You know, I didn't see anything that was out of the ordinary. And then I was aware I was a resident of New York. We met up in New York, so it didn't really, in my opinion, or my understanding, constitute sex trafficking. So the thing that put me in this situation, and this never happened, I didn't get any issues from the prosecution or the federal government, but if you talk to people who supposed to be in the know, they scare you about the Southern District. They give you this thing where, look, you want to cooperate, just do whatever you got to do. You don't want to get on their bad side. So I went into the scenario like, look, I'm just going to cooperate to the best of my ability, because
I'm just going to cooperate to the best of my ability. And just say I don't know anything, or just say it happened and nothing was forcible and I don't know nothing else. Don't think people that take the stand always tell the truth. You better believe people hop on that stand and lie. And I wouldn't be surprised if people did in this case, especially a guy that was involved in the sexual activity and was paid to do things. Just saying. Just saying. The way he acts about it so nonchalantly, it's like he's had this thing fucking made up in his mind and he just says the same thing every time. It seems like too well thought out. This guy's been all over TV for fucking the last month or so and making a ton of bread, I'm sure. And just saying, I don't know, everything was consensual. I got paid, I got transported. Nothing was forced. There was no weird shit other than being freaky.
To create a scenario where I'm looked at as an issue and then it escalates to something. It probably wouldn't have, but I just kept getting negative feedback that the Southern District is people you don't want to mess around with. And if they want to talk to you, if they want facts, if they want information, you have to give it to them. And that escalated to me on the stand where I never seconded.
And he also paints the Southern District in a bad light. Oh, the Southern District of New York Federal. Oh, you better watch out. You better talk to him. Like, it's just, he's saying everything fucking right. I wonder if he was fucking told what to do. It's like, it's too good. It's too fucking good. Where a regular individual generally wouldn't talk this way. I think he's been told what to say. I'm just keeping it real. It seems too uniform.
Yes, even cooperating because I did have worry that resistance could have been an issue for me.
Got maybe the most important question of the day from Xenu Golf Club. Did you like your courtroom sketches?
So I'm still getting problems from my buddies about how terrible those sketches are. So I did not like the courtroom sketches, man.
Well, Combs didn't like them either. He thought he looked like a koala. So.
Yeah. They have me. They're calling me like I don't know if you're familiar with the Fantastic Four.
Oh, it looks like you.
But I'm Ben Grimm. So yeah, a lot of jokes, a lot of unnecessary jokes I'm subjected to because of those photos.
Got a question coming in from. Wait, I just lost it. Where was it? Wait. I think no. Oh yeah. Chris Bono asks, if you weren't an escort worker, in what line of business could you see yourself?
Ironically, I have a passion for car sales. I could see myself being in a decent dealership, maybe a Mercedes, BMW dealership. I like the interaction with people. That would have been somewhere I would have went into as a secondary option.
Let me ask you a question. When you were testifying, this is my question. When you were testifying, what was it like to be in the room with Sean Combs, to see him? Did you make eye contact with him? Was he looking at you? Did it feel awkward? Was it strange?
Hell no,
Listen, it was the actual extreme of all of those feelings. I think the federal court is set up to intimidate you. The magnitude of the rooms, like the doors are 15 feet high, the ceiling's 30 feet high, the furniture's huge, you're sitting up high, the judge is high, it's freezing in the room. I walked in and I had literally an anxiety attack. And I consider myself a very calm, cool, collected guy, not easily rattled at all. And by the time I got on the witness stand, I was trembling. And so then to put on top of the understanding that I'm walking in there as a prosecution's witness, so I'm going to assume there's not a favorable thought process with Mr. Combs, his family, anybody involved. So it was very nerve-wracking, man. And I only benefited because I got called to the stand 10 minutes before lunch. And literally just swearing in and answering my name and very preliminary questions, I was losing my voice. I was having trouble talking. And so I'm happy that it broke for lunch. And it took me 20 of the 30-minute lunch to recompose myself. Or I might have had a very different testimony if I didn't have that break time to just kind of get myself together, because it was overwhelming.
Let me, Sheree, stand by. We have more questions coming in, but I want to bring on the other panelists as well. Ben, we haven't had a chance to talk about the verdict. This is something you predicted, though.
Well, I don't know. I went back and forth.
So, yeah, the Punisher seems a little flaky. Yeah, the Punisher, I think Punisher's fucking played it safe. I don't think I don't know. Maybe he's not, but I think he played it very safe. That's the thing with the justice. You can lie. You can lie on the stand. They have to have the proof. They have to have enough proof. And I don't think they had enough proof. I also find it odd Comey's daughter was the one prosecuting him. Megyn Kelly was outraged. Outraged. She was fucking pissed. And I'm not losing sleep over this shit. Do I think Diddy's a fucked up individual? Absolutely. Do I think he's shady? Absolutely. Am I going to lose sleep over it? Unfortunately not. Yeah, I think that Punisher dude was coached like a mother effer. Just by the way he talks to the camera, it seems like he's got a statement already set up. It doesn't seem like he's like speaking like from the heart. And if you watch other interviews, I bet he talks the same way. And like I said, he was the one doing the shit to people. If he said it was forced, it fucks him. But Megyn Kelly, there's some people really fucking pissed. I wonder how Diddy's career the rest of the way works out. Do you think people forget about it and just move on? Is that the type of society we live in? People just forget about it, move on, go back to being fucking a Diddy fan? I hate to say it, but it's probably what happens. Probably what happens. Let's see what Megyn Kelly had to say. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I get, Godfather.
Combs's body language is totally different from yesterday when he seemed crestfallen and grim after the jury said it had reached a verdict on 4 of the 5 counts. Now, acquitted of the most serious charges, Mr. Combs appears energetic and relieved. Can we just talk about, here's the picture, here's a sketch artist's picture of Combs yesterday of the grimness, and I'm sure we'll get one today of him looking much more relieved. I'm so confused about, here's a little bit more, New York Times. With a touch of levity, the judge said he assumed Combs would not want to return to the Brooklyn jail where he has been held. Combs shook his head vigorously and put his hands together in prayer. Oh, it's all just so chummy inside the courtroom for this disgusting pervert female abuser who I can't believe is about to roam our streets again. I'm sorry, I'm disgusted by this verdict. This is fucking ridiculous. I just find it absolutely outrageous, the amount of crime that this man got away with.
Megyn Kelly just dropped a fucking F-bomb. She's fucking hot. Well, she's acting like it anyway. Yeah, the jury could have got a fucking ducat. No doubt, Arturo. What's up, buddy? Salute. Thanks for checking in. Please like, share, subscribe if you haven't. We talk about all different stuff. We talk sports, politics, all popular culture. Do a bunch of shit over here at Nate's Live Talk. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Don't be afraid to join the chat. Megyn Kelly dropping F-bombs. Oof. No rage like a woman scorned.
Disgusting pervert female abuser.
Megyn Kelly's pissed.
Won't surprise you. Here's one other bit of color. And I assumed Combs would not want to return to the Brooklyn jail where he has been held. Combs shook his head vigorously and put his hands together in prayer. Oh, it's all just so chummy inside the courtroom for this disgusting pervert female abuser who I can't believe is about to roam our streets again. I'm sorry. I'm disgusted by this verdict. This is fucking ridiculous.
Wow.
I just find it absolutely outrageous, the amount of crime that this guy just got away with. I believe he committed arson.
She's fucking pissed. She's gonna fucking go after him for like the next year. Probably for content, but she puts on a good show if she's not lying. She's fucking pissed.
All just so chummy inside the courtroom for this disgusting pervert female abuser who I can't believe is about to roam our streets again. I'm sorry. I'm disgusted by this verdict. This is fucking ridiculous. I just find it absolutely outrageous, the amount of crime that this guy just got away with. I believe he committed arson. He definitely battered Cassie. He battered Jane too. The statute of limitations for battery in Los Angeles, California is 1 year. 1 year. So if they didn't charge him for battery within 1 year, and they couldn't because he bought the tape and it remained hidden thanks to those security guards out there, then they could never charge him with that again. There's no question. He dragged her back into that hotel room. Why wasn't that kidnapping? They only talked about the kidnapping of Capricorn Clark, who was his sort of main assistant, because she said he grabbed her and made her go with him over to Kid Cudi's house. There's no question he broke into Kid Cudi's house, in my view, and that he opened up the Christmas presents and locked the door in and made a threat. There's no question in my mind he was behind the arson of Kid Cudi's car, and there was proof, plenty of proof to prove that.
There was, supposedly.
There was female fingerprints they found on that, the firebomb that was left there, the Molotov cocktail. And the prosecution said there's no question he didn't do it himself, but he said, I'm going to bomb Kid Cudi's car. It's in writing. Cassie Ventura emailed her mother saying, oh my God, he's threatening to bomb his car. And 2 weeks later, it got bombed. Oh, gee, it was just some third party who also had, it's just like the proof was there, the beatings, the threats that if they didn't go back into those rooms and get off with these male escorts, that they were going to get beaten. The testimony from that Daniel Phillip, who was the male escort, who heard Combs abusing Cassie behind the door, and she was screaming, I'm sorry, as he heard him slapping her. Get back out there. She came back out. She was shaking. She got back into the escort's lap, physically shaking. She was so scared to the point where that guy couldn't perform sexually because this was so horrifying to him. What in the actual
I never heard that in testimony.
Went on in there?
So, Megan, let me talk to you just for one second, Phil. Let me just get Megan more pissed off, if I may. So if the judge gives him a reasonable sentence, let's say he sentences him to 5 years, okay? And he's already got time in, and with a halfway house, he's out in 3. How quick is he going to be accepted back into that Hollywood scene, blah, 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 blah? Or do you think people will still keep him at arm's length?
I mean, look, I will make it my personal mission to maintain his humiliation in the minds of all Americans. There's no question he's fallen as this revered figure for a large portion of America, but he also has diehard fans who want to pretend this is a Johnny Depp situation, you know, where he was wrongfully accused, that's my own view, by somebody who was out to get him, who played the victim when in fact she was abusive. This is not that situation. This is not. Cassandra Ventura was an extremely sympathetic witness who was not some powerful, I'm going to play Kid Cudi against Sean Combs. She was traumatized by this guy. She remains suicidal to this day, given all that was done to her. Listen to this. I'm like, I almost don't even want to read these updates.
I think part of the reason the jury and people don't give a fuck either is because jury got Cassie got all that money in a civil suit. I think if this came out before Cassie got that civil suit, it would have went differently. I think because Cassie got that money before this trial, people looked at it like, oh, she got fucking 30 mil. Who gives a fuck? He paid his dues. I think people might have saw that in that jury.
New York Times, Sean Combs is now on his knees, his elbows on the chair where he was sitting, his head buried. He appeared to be praying. He started a round of applause, which was echoed by his family, who are jubilant. Yay!
Yeah, Comey's daughter was the lead prosecutor, I'm pretty sure, on this case. I spoke about that a little while ago, Mark. Kind of fishy.
yay, we only have an abuser and solicitor of prostitutes in the family, not a sex trafficker.
Right.
Sean Combs' supporters and family are now clapping and whistling for his legal team, who are all embracing each other. They actually did get a victory, and that's different. They should be hugging. Go ahead, Phil.
The judge is allowing that kind of thing in the court.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that also.
Yeah, what's that about?
Or maybe the judge is all back. There's no place in the courtroom for this because, look, regardless of whether or not you agree or disagree with the verdict, there's a certain dignity and decorum that's only that's appropriate for courtrooms. And in federal courts, judges are famous for.
I think the only things he got in trouble for were soliciting prostitutes and taking prostitutes over state lines. I believe those are the only two things he was found guilty of. But you never know. They could bring up more charges in the future. He didn't make bail. Maybe the judge is going to sentence him harshly. I don't think he's going to. I think he sent him back to jail, and he'll come back for sentencing, and I think he probably does no time. They'll give him time served or something, or very minimal. I don't see him getting a full 10 years for each one. And I think they run concurrent regardless. I don't know if they can do them separately where it's a 20 years. Regardless, I don't think he even does 10 for the both of them. I don't think he even does 5. I think he was arrested in September or August. He's almost done a year in jail already. That could be why the judge sent him back to jail, I think, and didn't give him bail. So it's close to a year. He got like no time left. See you later. Have a nice day. Money, power, respect is the key in life. So it seems.
Enforcing it, oftentimes much more so than at the state level. But look, back to your whole thing.
Well, this is a Biden appointee, so who knows about the dignity required. Sorry, keep going.
Back to your dismay with the jury's verdict. Look, juries are always wild cards. You got 12 people in there that come from different backgrounds, different walks of life. They have different political philosophies. They have different religious philosophies. They have their own biases, whether they say they can leave them outside the courtroom or not. They bring them in there and they analyze and they view
witnesses
things. Sometimes jurors are just stupid. Sometimes they're just dumb. Sometimes they're not capable of understanding the law or following the judge's instructions. So you factor all of that in there, and what you've got is a system where, guess what? After doing this almost 40 years, I have come to the conclusion that you cannot trust jurors to ever get it right, whether you're a prosecutor or whether you're a defense lawyer.
Especially nowadays.
Juries cannot be trusted to get it right. They get it wrong a lot. And that is what usually brings people to the bargaining table to come up with, plea deals like we have seen maybe in the Kohberger case coming up today. But look, you just can't trust a jury ever to get to the right result. Sometimes they do, but a lot of times, unfortunately, they don't. And that cuts both ways for the prosecution and the defense.
I'm so confused on what the jury has done here. Like when you factor in the notes we got yesterday, Arthur, we get a note saying they reached a verdict on counts 2 through 5, but they couldn't agree on count 1, which was the racketeering conspiracy. Now we find out that at that time, we assume it didn't change, they thought he was guilty of the prostitution stuff, but they did not think that he was a sex trafficker who forced Cassie and Jane to perform sex acts under threat of coercion or fraud. And yet they were about to be a hung jury on the RICO count. Now, I don't get it. And then today, I guess the holdouts who said,
that's what I wonder too. Oh, Godfather. I said the same thing. How does the regular person make out in this? Say you were like, I'm just speaking hypothetically and playing devil's advocate. Say you were a pimp, right? Seriously. Say you were a pimp and you had these girls and you didn't beat them, and some of them did drugs. Most pimps don't let their girls do drugs. I've watched a lot of pimp documentaries, but say you're a pimp and you don't force these women to do anything, and you guys are a team to make money. That guy would get hit with human trafficking in a fucking heartbeat. Like he chains women to the fucking basement floor. And I think because it's Diddy, it looks like he didn't have to force anybody because of his money. Or they couldn't prove it. You heard that prostitute, that male prostitute, say he didn't witness shit. He didn't know nothing about nothing other than he boned Cassie. So I think a lot of people lied. And I don't understand how he got off on gun charges with serial numbers scraped as well. Unless it was bullshit or they couldn't prove it. That's a pretty easy one to prove. Or maybe they proved that the numbers were scratched off, but they weren't involved in a crime. But I believe scratching the numbers off a gun is a crime anyway. But the jury wasn't convinced, apparently. Right? At the end of the day, the jury wasn't convinced.
I think he's guilty of RICO. This morning turned around and said, all right, he's not. Because they acquitted him of that. I don't get it, because how was there a juror who said he didn't sex traffic, but he might be guilty of RICO? I guess somebody was looking at the RICO statute saying maybe he did do the arson, maybe he did do the drug selling.
Right. The other predicate, right. There were other predicate acts that it didn't have to be the ones he was charged with. There were ones outside of the charged crimes that they could have said those were predicate acts and therefore he's guilty of the racketeering. Look, I'm happy he didn't, look, I'm with you about who Sean Combs is as a person. But as someone who works in the system, this RICO law has really been abused as of late. And because from what its original intent was to what they're using it for now. So I'm happy that this didn't play out. Or maybe they were confused on, well, even if he did do some of the other predicate acts, is his business, which is music and recording and taking care of other artists and clothing and alcohol and all of this stuff, is that really a criminal enterprise, or is it a legitimate enterprise that Mr. Combs individually did some criminality with? So it probably got a little confusing, a little mixed up. I'm happy. Maybe this will have a chilling effect on prosecutors across the country to just be throwing these RICO counts around where they are not really deserved. But Megan, it also goes to, you never know what happens when a jury goes out overnight and they go home and they go to sleep and they think about it. And let's face it, the Sean Combs stuff is popping up all over everyone's phone, in the back of the cab. So who knows what they heard, who knows what they absorbed and what changed. But something changed really quickly, right? It's not like they were in there and it's 3:00 this afternoon. I mean, they came in, they must have taken a vote and it was over.
Crazy. Shit's crazy.
No, and they were not sequestered, so they had access to their friends and family, and who knows how that went and whose input, if any, they took during that time frame. I want to say this just happened inside the courtroom. The court, the Times reporting, the court is adjourning for a few hours while the judge considers the arguments from Mr. Combs' lawyers and prosecutors about whether he should be released. Inner City Press, which is an organization that's been reporting on this from the beginning, says, yes, okay, that proposal, wait a couple hours, give me a couple hours, that makes sense. Mr. Combs does not want to go back to the detention center. He is shaking his head.
Stomping his feet.
So something about at 1 p.m. will convene. And
stomping his feet. That should tell you a lot. He's guilty of 2 charges that still potentially could come with 10 years. And I don't know if they run concurrent or not. I don't know if it's 10 years for both charges, they run together, or it's 10 years for one, 10 years for the other, and it's 20 years total. I don't know how the law works. But he was all pissed off they wouldn't give him bail. He was so happy that he only got charged with 2 things, and now he's pissed off that he's got to go back to his cell, which makes me wonder, maybe this judge is going to fucking stick him with 10 years. I don't think it's likely, but maybe this judge says, fuck it. And it won't look good for him, no matter how much time he does. Unless it's a fucking, I mean, who knows? He could try to turn around and maybe sue. I don't know if you're allowed to. This judge has to be careful with this sentencing. If he like, it could impact his fucking life in more way than one. But it's up to the fucking judge. He's allowed to give him up to 10 years, but that's in like most extreme cases. I don't know how they dictate what's extreme and what isn't. But maybe the judge is going to fucking stick it to him as much as he can if he's not letting him out on bail. And even if he's let out on bail, I mean, even if he does face years he's not happy with, he still can fucking appeal. Like, even if they give Diddy fucking 10 years or 5 years, he can still appeal and they run it back. They run it back. That's why I think the judge calls it fucking quits and it's over with. But maybe not. Maybe the judge, I don't know how they're supposed to look at things. I don't think people are totally truthful nowadays. I think majority of people lie. I think people that testified lied both ways. I think people that fucking are in the jury have their own beliefs. And I don't think this jury understood how law works. Sorry, it's making me sick thinking about it. If my teeth are bothering me, I apologize. People are stupid nowadays. I really believe it. People don't understand the English language, even, or understand like the definition of words. Like I spoke about several times, like distribution. Distribution means moving things from one place to another or from one person to another. I don't know if you had to make money. If you distribute shit, there's free newspapers that are distributed. There's all kinds of free shit that's distributed around the world. So if he was giving drugs to people, even if they willingly wanted them, I would consider that distribution. Does it matter how much? I don't think it does. I don't know the RICO laws that way. And a lot of people don't. And I doubt anyone read into it. I doubt any of these jurors went home and read into the law and tried to figure it out. Maybe a couple of them. Majority of them, I'm sure they didn't. And that's why the prosecution should have spoke out about how the laws work, Mark. Well, the people were too stupid or too smart to understand how they presented it. I said that as well. That's a great point. The prosecution should be explaining laws as they try to prove him guilty. Yeah. And I'm surprised because when this first started, I thought it was a slam dunk against him. I also, like I said, I wonder about Comey. They didn't let Diddy go. He's not free yet. He got convicted of 2 of 5 counts. The 2 counts he's convicted of, he can face up to 20 years total. I don't know if they run concurrent. He was denied bail. He was not let free. He has to stay at least in custody till they sentence him. And they could let him go. Say, hey, you done a year. That's all you're getting. See you later. I don't think the jury they were either too intelligent or not intelligent enough to look at the law properly. The distribution thing, I don't understand it, but if I looked it up, I could understand it. Or if someone told me how the law works, I could understand it. Like, is it distribution if you give it to someone willingly and you don't charge them money? I would assume that's still distribution technically, but I don't know how it's written into law. And it should have been explained to the jurors. I don't know. I've never been in part of a jury. I don't know if they have someone that can answer legal questions for the jury while they're deliberating. I think Comey and them dropped the ball. I don't think a lot of people told the truth. And I'm not surprised how it worked out. And I wonder how the future looks for him. I wonder how the future works for Diddy. Is he going to end up being like a fucking sacrificial lamb, like people love him like Jesus? Some people. Is he accepted right back into Hollywood? Probably. All the people that partied with him and did weirdo shit, they'll still hang out. Because now it looks normal. Oh, he didn't get charged with none of that shit other than fucking prostitution, being a freak. And part of it, people don't care about being a freak anymore. It's okay to be a freak nowadays in society. I think the rainbow flag people are going to love Diddy after this. Personally, I think he's going to be embraced by the LGBTQ community. It's okay to be freaky. Look at Diddy. They'll be having their walks with baby oil, saying with signs, Diddy's free. Watch. You have to pay for it? Hoorah. Yeah, I never looked into it. I should look into it. But I don't trust the Punisher either. I think that dude, the Punisher, I think that dude, the Punisher, played stupid. I think a lot of people played stupid. Whether they were scared of Diddy or scared of getting in trouble themselves. I think a lot of people played fucking stupid. I think the people that testified, a lot of them played stupid. Especially the Punisher. And I think the prosecution did a horrible job. Horrible job. And like you said, Mark, where the fuck did the gun charges go? I think they put the guns on his kid, if I'm not mistaken. I think I read something that said that. I gotta blow my fucking nose. Ugh. Yeah. Excuse me. I think one of his kids took the gun charges. Now that I'm thinking back. I'm pretty sure. Excuse me. Fuck. Yuck, excuse me. Thank you, Ura. I can't find anything on the internet about gun charges. Maybe they didn't bring up the gun charge. Maybe they didn't bring it up. I can't remember exactly, but I thought one of them might have took the charges. Either that or they went after him for the other shit. I remember them saying they found guns that were fucking defaced, though. I do remember hearing that, Mark. I don't know if it was bullshit propaganda. Maybe it was something they couldn't fucking prove. Maybe someone else took a hit. Maybe he paid money. Look, if this happens to a regular pimp that doesn't beat his girls up and they do it willingly, they go to jail for life. That's why people don't pimp no more. I watched a documentary on a guy that was a pimp, and he gave it up in like 2012. And he had his girls on there that said, and it could be bullshit, but he had his girls, some of his girls on there, and they all lived together. It was a complete documentary. They lived together. They functioned like a fucking family. It was like a job. No one was forced to do shit. He got like stern with them sometimes, but fucking husbands and wives fight all the time. Employees and bosses get loud with each other. But none of these women on camera said they were forced. They had like a nice house. They were fucking chilling. And none of them were forced into doing it. None of them were beaten, they said. None of them looked like they'd been beat up. I'm just keeping it real. If this was a regular dude doing this shit outside of fucking the Bunny Ranch in Vegas where it's legal, you would look at him the same fucking way. But because they're not at the Bunny Ranch, it's fucking illegal. But probably because they make money off it, they tax it or some shit. But what I'm saying is if it was a regular dude doing that shit, he would have went to jail for fucking sex trafficking for years, human trafficking. But if it's in Vegas, it's okay. And the girls do it in Vegas, they're down with it. It's so fucking weird to me how it's like perceived. And we seen Diddy beat a bitch. We seen Diddy go after fucking Cassie. So if they caught you doing that shit on me, we'd be going to jail for fucking the rest of our lives. The rest of our lives. Yeah, and then they said, I think, Mark, I don't think they could use the video. I think it passed. I think it was like over the statute of limitations. Right, Jet? Well, I'm just saying, though, it's crazy, right? In Vegas, in a certain little area, you're allowed to do shit. But if you're a pimp on the street and you do the same thing and you don't beat the girls, you get 25 years to life. But because the dude don't have the money to start a bunny ranch and you won't give him the license, you throw him in jail. I've seen it so many times. I've watched so much shit on it because of this trial. I watched like 3 or 4 documentaries and read a book about pimps. And a lot of them, like, I'm not saying, I shouldn't say a lot of them. In the shit I've learned about it, a lot of these fucking pimps weren't beating these bitches up, forcing them. I'm just keeping it real. Yeah, the dude passed away that used to own it. I don't know if his family owns it. I'm sure it's still going on. I think his name was Dennis Hoffman. But you see all these people, him, Hugh Hefner, they're allowed to do it because it's legal in this one little area. People do it anywhere else, it's illegal. Las Vegas, the city of sin. But I blame the prosecution. I wonder how bad they wanted him. I have a lot of conspiracy theories with this shit. Hypothetical. None that I really believe in. I think the prosecution did a bad job. And I think the jury's a bunch of fucking retards. That's what I think. Exactly, Jet. That's a good comment. I'm still waiting for people or folks to explain to me the difference between OnlyFans and a pimp. Exactly. right? OnlyFans gets a cut of the money. They're not forcing bitches to do shit. It's a beautiful point. Right? They're a big company. I don't know where they're out of. Why is it legal there? Because it's porn. And this is what the same thing with Diddy, right? If Diddy was a porn director, it'd be okay. There's different ways to look at it. Do I think Diddy did more bad shit than good? Absolutely. Do I think Diddy's threatened people and terrorized people? I lean towards yes. But it's funny how that works. It's funny how that works. Yeah, Kai, that's what I heard about the entire trial from reporters that were there, that the prosecution was not doing a very good job. But it's funny how that works, right? You have a big company that puts videos of people doing it out online. You're a pimp, or I mean, you're a legal pornography company. If you're someone that does it in their own private life, like Diddy, you're a fucking up for a RICO charge. It's like the government's only mad because the dude's fucking not getting taxed on it or something. This is why, like, I see it from both sides. I see it from both sides. And I wasn't there. If I had to bet Diddy did a lot of bad shit, I would bet that he did. If I had to bet. But I had a feeling this was coming from what I've been hearing. Yeah. Everyone's pimp. Everyone's a pimp, Jet. People don't realize it. People don't realize it. You get pimped one way or another. When you sell your fucking an hour of your life or your time, same fucking difference, to a company, you're getting fucking pimped. They give you so much money for doing something for them. Everyone gets fucking pimped. Hypothetically. I know jobs that I've heard stories about jobs that pimp their workers worse than a pimp pimps their hoes. Fucking United States Postal Service is one of them. Oh, yeah. Trust me. There's a lot of jobs like that. I watched a job the other day. The dude wouldn't pay his fucking employee a day early when he needed the money. The guy been with him for like 5 years. It was on a YouTube short. No, tomorrow's payday. Come on, man. My fucking landlord's on my ass. I need my rent money. He's going to fucking kick me out, dude. Please, can I get my check early? I don't want to hear about him. Or can I get some money towards it? And the guy's like, I'll sign my check right over. No. Fuck you. No. They don't give a fuck. You get pimped one way or another. That's what I'm saying, Mark. And, you know, if Diddy just fucking, I don't know. If he was into that freaky shit, he should have just started a porn production company. He could have done it. He could have made it so it looked like he wasn't even involved. He has so much money. He could have made it like he wasn't the director. And made people sign fucking non-disclosure agreements. He could have made everyone sign an NDA. I will not talk about who filmed this movie. I was not forced. I was paid this much. All he needed to do was give him fucking an NDA and start a porn company. He could have done it legally. That's why I don't fucking get about it. Maybe because it was in his private life, it's looked at differently. and he hired prostitutes. A porn star is just a prostitute. In all reality, they get paid for fucking having sexual intercourse with someone. There's no difference. I don't care what anyone says. There's no fucking difference. Oh, the people are cleaner and better looking. There's no fucking difference. No, I didn't, Kai. Could you fill me in? They were having a Diddy oil party, Jet. When they came out of court this afternoon, people were squeezing baby oil on the people that were against Diddy. The people that were for Diddy were squirting baby oil in the air. We watched a video on it earlier. People are fucking retarded. But no, I didn't know pornographic material was covered in the First Amendment. Had no clue. I want to hear what Sammy the Bull has to say about this shit. That should be a trip. Sammy the Bull, the Punisher, D.L. Hughley, the Democratic cuck from hell, and a lawyer and Piers Morgan chop it up. We got to check this video out. Pornographic material, whether it's magazines or videos, is covered under the First Amendment, more particularly for freedom of speech. It's also considered an art form, which is protected class of some sort. Godfather says strippers are artists they consider exotic dances. Right? It's all perception. It's covered under the First Amendment, but Trump's making it so people can't post stuff without consent of the person in the content. Yeah, that makes sense. Because even though you're a stripper, it doesn't mean you want it everywhere. Or a sex worker for that thing. It's just funny how it works, like the law works in certain places and for certain people, and how fucking juries are brain dead. But we gotta check out this Sammy the Bullshit. This is probably interesting. Hopefully.
Just because they're identical doesn't mean they have identical needs. That's why Cox Business connects everyone.
The evidence was weak. It wasn't a strong case. It was a strong case in the media and all the pundits who wanted to say he's a woman beater. That doesn't equal a RICO charge.
This verdict really just goes to show how much women are really truly not believed.
If numbers don't lie, it was 36-0. 36-0.
Some even went as far as suggesting you must have been on the Diddy payroll. Would you like to clear that up?
I am not on the Diddy payroll. This was just my honest experience.
When you run with certain people and you know what they could be capable of, then you know you might be in clear and present danger.
The legal system, they want to get their hunk. They can't walk away. They're already disgraced. They don't want to walk away totally disgraced.
After 7 weeks of revelations and a case that's shaken the showbiz world, Sean Diddy Combs has been found not guilty of racketeering and not guilty of sex trafficking his ex-partner Cassie Ventura, another woman referred to only as Jane. The jury did find him guilty on 2 counts, both of transportation to engage in prostitution, related to those same 2 women. Well, the verdicts have come as much of a bombshell as the case itself, with an all-star panel of opinionated insiders and legal experts to explain what it all means and what happens next. In a moment, I'll talk to young jock and Sammy the Bull, and I'll talk to the Punisher, whose evidence appears to have been pivotal in this trial. But we begin with our legal panelist, Bruce Rivers, the criminal defense attorney who's covered the Diddy trial fastidiously on his popular YouTube channel, Suge Knight's former attorney, Matthew Fletcher, who's repeatedly questioned the strength of the prosecution's case, and Ariel Mitchell-Kidd, a lawyer who's represented other women who claim to have been Diddy's victims. So welcome to all of you. Matthew Fletcher, let me start with you, because you've been very clear with me in the many times you've appeared on Uncensored during this case that you believed they were not going to get convictions on the more serious charges. And what is fascinating about that, that you've been proven right, of course, but also that in the Southern District of New York, the success rate for federal prosecutors is 93%. You know, they hardly ever fail. So just why do you think here I mean, it's being billed as Diddy beats the feds. Obviously, he's not completely beaten them, but he's only been found guilty of the least serious charges. Why do you think that has happened?
Because the evidence was weak. I've said from the very beginning. I've got over 100 jury trials. I did this for 23 years. All I do is trial consulting now. I can spot a bad case a mile away. And the first witness in this case, from the first witness in this case on, this was always about the government saying he's a bad person, which he is. He's a horrible, rotten woman beater. And as I told you last time, Agnifilo is going to get up there and say, convict him of every single count of domestic violence. But there aren't any counts of domestic violence. He did that. I told you before that they were going to sit there and say that these women enjoyed this. There was no coercion. There was no duress. And to show that one video of what happened years ago, that's what they built their entire case on. And it's horrible, but he wasn't charged with that. Racketeering, RICO is meant for particular vices, and those vices don't include shipping in prostitutes, and unfortunately they don't also include beating your wife or your girlfriend. That's what he was. He's a wife beater or girlfriend beater. He was never should have been charged with this. Never close. All the people who were wringing their hands and saying, oh, well, they must have convicted him in four counts. It's not even true. They never believed the word Cassie said. They never believed the word Jane said. That jury wasn't even out. 1 hour of deliberations, they came and said, Judge, we need to throw juror 25 off because he's not deliberating. That told you there was already a group of people together who were willing to go in one direction or the other. That jury deliberated 3 hours, essentially, before they had conviction or had verdicts, which a fast verdict like that, in my experience, tells me that's clearly a defense verdict. Clearly. They came back today and it was over. It wasn't a strong case. It was a strong case in the media and all the pundits who wanted to say he's a woman beater, which he is. That doesn't equal a RICO charge.
No, well, you've been very consistent on that. I mean, given the convictions he's now received, what is his likely sentence? I mean, each count, I think, is a maximum of...
You got to give him 2 years.
It's a maximum of 10 years on each count. So what do you think he'll get?
Yeah, but the feds are different. First of all, he's convicted of procuring a prostitute. If we're going to start throwing music moguls and billionaires in prison for procuring prostitutes, we're going to need to expand the prisons. We're going to have to get, alligator Alcatraz fired up. But, under the guidelines, he has no criminal records, basically. So he should get the minimum sentence, which is 2 years, and they could...
See how it's normalized, though? It's like normalized. It's okay for like musicians in Hollywood and people of power. Listen to this guy. Like, he's like, it's so normalized. This dude's like, if we're going to do that, we need to get some bigger prisons. Like, justifying pretty much it's okay. Like, what's the big deal? Or he could be being honest, but I don't get that vibe from him.
And the prisons, we're going to have to get...
It's a maximum of...
Got to give him 2 years.
It's a maximum of 10 years on each count. So what do you think you'll get?
Yeah, but the feds are different. First of all, he's convicted of procuring a prostitute. If we're going to start throwing music moguls and billionaires in prison for procuring prostitutes, we're going to need to expand the prisons. We're going to have to get, alligator Alcatraz fired up. But, under the guidelines, he has no criminal records, basically. So he should get the minimum sentence, which is 2 years, and they could screw him over and run him bow-legged and do them consecutively. There's no reason for them to do that. I expect at 1 o'clock the judge is going to give him bail. I don't know why he didn't get bail. I mean, there's very few people in federal prison right now.
He didn't get bail.
These charges, so I would be surprised if he didn't get bail, and he should get the minimum because that's what they're not going to look at. You beat up Cassie. That's not relevant.
No, it's irrelevant. But let me ask you just on a technical point. Can the time that he served in prison then be removed? Say he gets 2 years to run concurrently. On both
definitely.
So he serves 2 years. Would they remove time served, or is that irrelevant?
I've been up all night.
I get that vibe too. I get that vibe with almost everything nowadays. Like, we have more race problems now than ever. It's not as bad, but it's getting like I can't explain it. But yeah, there's a large amount of people that just look at everything as black and white and race. Absolutely.
Every dollar he put in. So he's 7 months into this already. So if they run him concurrently, he's looking at, probably a 20-month guideline, and you knock off 7, and, there's very real chance that he's not ever going to see a federal prison.
Oh, he's getting time served no matter what. They have to give you it.
If the president doesn't do something with it, because this is the kind of thing that you can see someone granting a pardon on. I mean, it's the White Slave Trade Act. That's real difficult to sentence somebody on the White Slave Trade Act in 2025, just from a practical standpoint.
Okay.
The government failed miserably.
Yeah, well, they clearly have. Ariel Mitchell-Kidd, you represent a number of women in civil cases against Sean Combs. What is your reaction to this verdict?
Well, I think it's important that we discuss the lack of diversity that was on the prosecution team. That was probably my most concern when I faced them, when I had a hearing for a motion to quash during the grand jury testimony. I was very concerned when I was looking across from me at 6 white women and them not being able to grasp just exactly how to convey what has occurred to a jury and being able to relate these things to a jury. Of course.
So because it was white prosecutors, she worried about how they would do. Even on the people that are mad that Diddy got off, they're blaming fucking white people. Wild. Did you catch that? Should I play it back? Like, yeah, because a white person doesn't understand what this shit could be about, or they don't look at it the same. That shit's wild. People
diversity.
People are fucking nuts. Wow. She's not for Diddy, but she was worried about the lack of diversity on the fucking part of the U.S. government dealing with the case. Give me a fucking break. Talk about underlying tones. This is how they brainwash people, man.
Sean Combs, what is your reaction to this verdict?
Well, I think it's important that we discuss the lack of diversity that was on the prosecution team. That was probably my most concern when I faced them, when I had a hearing for a motion to quash during the grand jury testimony. I was very concerned when I was looking across from me at 6 white women and them not being able to grasp just exactly how to convey what has occurred to a jury and being able to relate these things to a jury. Of course, my clients are very shocked at all of this. I am shocked. I'm actually very shocked at how they were able to reach the transportation aspect, but not the other 2 charges, because one kind of flows with the other.
Well, they don't though, really, do they? Because the transportation is that you're transporting people illegally across state lines for the purpose of prostitution. But that doesn't mean there's any coercion. And in fact, they have rejected all the charges, which would then lead on to a coercive situation.
No
sex trafficking.
You can't cut me off and let me not finish my statement.
Sure.
So in reference to, first of all, the bar they have to meet. It's a very, very high bar in criminal court. It is beyond a reasonable doubt. So, of course, it's clear that he did these things, transporting people for prostitution, the prostitutes, like you just said, the Punisher, who you'll have later, and other men who have said they were transported, as well as the women who said, the Jane Does who said they were also transported for this reason. However, when we talk about the coercion, I thought the elements were met. If you are asking me where I think the prosecution fell short, was I think taking 6 weeks to put on their case was a mistake. It was overkill. I think had they shortened and streamlined their case, maybe in a 3-4 week at max point, they would have been successful.
And when you say the prosecution team wasn't diverse enough, what exactly?
Yeah, what do you mean by it wasn't diverse enough?
What do you mean? What are you saying?
there were 6 white women. So there was not any other voice other than a white woman's voice being heard. There was not a man's voice, a man's perspective of any race, let alone any other race, especially a black voice,
here we go.
considering just how, I don't even know what the word impactful is, not even.
This broad's a fucking idiot. We need to move on.
I can make
Diversity, equality,
espresso machine.
yada yada.
Which makes me.
We were still in the kind of full flow of.
I want to get to Sammy. Where's Sammy at? He's gonna rip the government, I'm sure. Just because he hates them motherfuckers. We've already heard him talk. Oh, he's on there with Neo. Oh, great. Oh no, it's not Neo. It's the other fucking idiot, Young Jock. Another suspect motherfucker. Young Jock's like the most suspect motherfucker I've ever seen out of Atlanta. One of them. I don't care how gangster they say he is. The shit he did on that fucking show on VH1, I didn't watch it. I saw clips of it. He's a zest monster. Zest monster.
Both of you, both making your uncensored debuts. I appreciate it. Young Jock, let me just get your reaction, first of all, to this verdict.
I kind of felt that it could play out in this way. Once some of those stories started not really adding up, you know, they weren't properly corroborated between Cassie and some of the other.
That's exactly what she's saying, Kai.
Some of them changed up, and then
because it was all white women prosecuting, they fucked up.
What was the guy's name who was the Punisher?
Yeah,
like he was supposed to be there for Cassie's behalf, basically. And they try to. It seems like it sounds like they asked him to be as clean and cut as possible, and don't add too much, don't take away. And it seemed like it hurt their case.
Yeah,
because he basically said, "Hey man, this time she called me, and you know, and the other girl was calling and tipping me and doing. You know, it's kind of like, well, to make it seem as if I'm forced to be here and you setting up the plays." It just seems to me like it didn't play out well, but it played out well for Diddy. It didn't play out well for, you know, prosecution.
And as far as I know, Young Jock doesn't own his masters. I could be wrong. He was on Bad Boy. All them couple of hits he had. I know he had that one, Meet Me in the Club, It's Going Down. I'm trying to think of any other hits he had. I wasn't a big Young Jock fan. That was like the only song I really knew by him. But you think he's going to say much bad about Diddy? He's got to get royalties and shit. He still works with Bad Boy, I'm sure, at some capacity. He's got to deal with him still, I'm sure. What do you think he's going to fucking say? Of course he's going to be pro-Diddy, more likely than not.
But from what you saw of Diddy
and there's a lot of people that came out from like making the band, and some of them said Diddy was on that shit, and some of them said he wasn't. So who the fuck knows? Aubrey Day been saying this shit for years. I don't know if she was brought in to testify, but she been trying to get their masters from Diddy for years. The rest of the girls won't fall in line. They're afraid of him. That's what I've heard several of those girls from that making the band say.
Cassie Ventura. Are you happy with this verdict, or do you think he's got away with something here where he did have a controlling relationship with her?
No,
it's hella racist.
Listen, let's be honest. When you talk about consenting adults, there's too many times that I was with Cassie and Diddy. My ex-wife's birthday party one year, we were in Miami, and I pulled up to Diddy's house in a 100-foot yacht. You know what I'm saying? He's like, me and Cassie, we in the house. You and your
must
wife
be nice.
Come in and kick it. We came, kicked the jet skis, kicked it or whatnot, and that's the night. You know, and just to clean it up the way you introduced me, I never saw any abusive behavior towards Diddy. And this is what's interesting. When this case first took off, the minute the lawsuit dropped, I was just on Vlad TV, and I was talking about the moment we were in Miami, the night that I'm speaking of, while being there with Diddy and Cassie, and my wife and other friends and other celebrities. And all I made reference to is the influence he had over the culture. That's all I was speaking of, because he saw a white woman in the club who I saw him notice. I was like, what is he doing? Because he stopped in mid everything, and he jumps down. He comes to tell Cassie, hey, I want you to cut the shade aside of your head. Now, I thought that was crazy. Yeah, I was like, what? Why would you do that? And she said to me, whatever Sean wants, Sean gets. And after that, it's like that was the perfect time for them to drop the whole
But that's very interesting.
lawsuit.
That's very interesting what you're saying, because I think what you're saying is that it may have been mischaracterized as being a non-consensual thing, that he was, forcing her to do this, but that she was happy to do it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's not like he said, hey, get over here and grab her by the neck, cut your hair off tomorrow. No, he said, baby, yo, I just saw something really dope. Tomorrow, he was enthused, he was hyped, we was having a good time, we was partying. He's like, my ex-wife was sitting right here, Cassie's sitting on this side of me, the rest of the crew, we kicking it. And he said, I think it'd be really
Look
dope.
at Sammy the Bull.
Shave the side of your head. And she was like, shave the side of my head.
He
He's
looks
like, yeah,
stoned, or he's just like
it's
sick of hearing it.
And she said, okay. And he walked back, got back on we went and lived. He jumped back on it's not a stage, but the bar or whatever.
Is he smoking a blunt?
So back in his mouth. And
Looks
get
like
back
a
to the
blunt.
party. And I'm like, are you really going to do this? And that's what she said to me. Like, yeah, he wanted. And I remember her calling me 2 days later.
I think Sammy's smoking a blunt.
And I was like, whoa, you really did it. And from there, I saw that trend take off. So that's all I was saying in that space that I was speaking on.
Very interesting. Sammy, do you mind if I call you Sammy? Would you prefer to be called Salvatore? How do you?
It's good. Sammy's good.
Sammy, well, welcome to Uncensored. You obviously were involved in RICO cases. They were kind of set up to deal with the mafia.
Yeah.
Were you surprised when you originally heard they were trying to get Diddy?
That's why I think the jury was fucked up with the RICO shit. I think when you hear the word RICO, you think some mafia shit, because that's how they got to the mafia. It was the only way they could get the mob. Majority of the time. At least the leaders of it, the godfathers. So when people hear RICO, I don't think that the word RICO and what people think RICO is, they couldn't identify it with Puffy. Whether it's right or not, I don't know how it's written in law. I would have to look it all up and see how my perception of it would be. But when people hear RICO, I know even myself, I think, oh shit, mafia shit. Tax evasion, mafia shit. And other shit too. Murder, drug dealing, fucking God knows what. But generally, I automatically go to mafia.
As a RICO case, were you surprised? Did you feel that was an overreach?
I did a lot of interviews with a lot of people while the case was going on. I didn't follow it too close. But yes, it didn't fit a RICO case. A RICO case is for the mafia. It's an organized crime. There's a boss and underboss under here, a list of people with names and what positions they're in and what they're doing to get money and stuff like that. He didn't seem to fit that mold. He had a business and he ran it. He might have been a little freaky, a little bit.
Need it quick? Get it now.
And that's what I think the jury felt as well. I even don't understand it because I don't know by the law. And I don't know if the jury can ask anyone. Like, I would hope, it's part of the prosecution's job, I feel, to let the jury know how the law works when they present their case. Like, if I was the lawyer, I would read the law out to the jury. And then I would say why RICO applies to him. And I don't know if the prosecution did that or not. And even if they did it, who knows if the jury understood it? Who knows how they did it? Did they do a poor job of doing it? Or do they have someone they can go to when they're in deliberation, when they were trying to come up with a verdict? Is someone sitting there with them that they can ask legal questions to? I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Whatever he did, But I didn't see it as a RICO case, and I thought that was going to destroy it. Most people don't even understand what a RICO case is.
Right.
You're giving it to a juror of 12 people. Probably none of those people understood what a RICO case is, and they took different statements. I'm going to agree with some of the people that you interviewed already, and the guy sitting next to you. And a lot of this was consensual, and that's what really blew it out of the water for the defense. It sounded like a win. When you do something violent. Listen, you had a female lawyer talking a little while ago, and she says it's about race, it's about women, it's nothing to do with race or women.
No shit.
There was black, there was white, there was everything. But the point is that when you're having consensual sex, it's a different ballgame. It's not that much of a crime anymore.
Nope.
What blew me away is that when she was calling him back after she got beat up and all of that stuff, and told him, when are we going to have the next freak-off? When's the next party? Yeah. So she's not a victim to me anymore. She's something that they enjoy doing together in their parties, and they're back and forth. So how do you make her a victim? Because she's just a woman? That's what that other lawyer was saying.
I think that's very interesting, because I think that is what the jury, who were 8 men, 4 women, that is the conclusion they all reached. They clearly did not believe what the 2 women were saying. They did not believe it was non-consensual.
Absolutely. Let me go back to the female lawyer you had on when she said there was men and we don't understand women. That's ridiculous. That's
I agree. Very patronizing.
I have a daughter. I have a granddaughter. I have 4 or 5 women working for me. I know what women are about. To say I don't understand women because I'm a man, that's insane. It's the act. It's not whether he's black or white or a man or a woman. It's about the facts of the case and what went on. I was just saying, he's been at a party. He told her to shave her head. She went ahead and did it. I mean, listen, it's consensual. Now, if I have one of the girls who work for me tell her to shave her head and she says, no, forget about it, I ain't doing that. And I grab her by the neck and I bring the razor, that's violence.
Yes.
Yeah. Now she's scared to death.
No, I agree. As we're talking, 50 Cent has given a reaction on Instagram. Did he beat the feds? That boy is a bad man, beat the RICO. He's the gay John Gotti. What's your response to that, Sammy?
I don't like the thing. I think he's half gay because of what he meant with women and men, so you could call him gay. John Gotti was not gay. John Gotti beat the government. He was flamboyant. You may not like his style, but to label him as gay.
To be clear, he doesn't call it. I think he's saying he's the gay version of John Gotti, because Gotti,
he ain't nothing like Gotti
as well. So I think he's making the point that Diddy is the gay version. He's not actually saying John Gotti was gay.
Okay, I understand it a little better now.
50's going to keep going at him, too.
If that's what they want to call him, that's up to them. All this mudslinging about all of this stuff, whether he's gay, whether he's black, whether he's whatever it is, whatever, that's all bullshit. Have a case. The government screwed up. They hit him with a RICO case. It didn't fit.
Yep.
People didn't understand it. And the evidence was there.
People didn't understand it, is what it is, I
I had
think.
a few men talking, especially the guy sitting right next to me.
Yeah.
They seem pretty open and honest about it. Doesn't matter if he's black or white. Doesn't matter if he's gay or straight. He's telling you the truth. Sounds like the truth. And the woman basically is saying the same thing. So why would I not believe him? Because he's black?
Yeah, I think bringing his colour into it and the gender thing, I didn't really get all that. Let me bring young Jock back in. You wanted to say something there. You put your hand up, I think.
No, I'm following him. I'm loving what he's saying. But I did have a question, and I wish I could have asked one of the attorneys, but I could ask you guys. You guys are definitely have been around for quite some time, and I've seen some things. And interestingly enough, Mr. Sammy, as you knowing about Ricos and whatnot, I was wondering, had they not granted immunity to Diddy's so-called co-defendants, then I believe the whole RICO Act could have stuck, because all they had to do was incriminate Cassie alongside with him when she's putting together these freak offs as well. Like,
why would they do that?
Sammy, her coming back after the incident in the hotel and saying
they granted immunity to Diddy's co-defendant. I never heard that till now. That's fucking nuts. So how do you prove a RICO when his co-defendants are given immunity? The jury didn't look at I'm sure the jury looked at it like, well, we can't use it against them, so it doesn't count. Whether it's not necessarily true. It's all perception. It's how people view things. That's why juries are a fucked up thing. That's why you gotta have enough evidence and be a damn good lawyer. Look at the movie with Keanu Reeves and fucking Al Pacino, Devil's Advocate. I know that was far-fetched to some people and they don't see everything as a spiritual battle. But the shit that really goes down, change Al Pacino with money. People care about money over everything nowadays. I don't think... I know for a fact there's several people that went on that stand and lied in this case. I would fucking be willing to bet. Willing to bet. Lied with a hand on the Bible. I would be shocked if nobody lied about this entire case that was involved with it. Both sides. Not just Diddy. I don't think everyone told the fucking truth. Especially some of those sex workers.
Hey, this is that. But when are we going to get back to what we normally do, our regularly scheduled programming with the free calls? Now, at that moment, it raised a lot of concerns for me, because I said, I wonder, at that moment, was that the moment she began plotting?
Maybe that was her minute to plot. Who knows? The whole thing's fucked.
In other words, I do. So, Sammy, I think you understood it very quickly, but what he's saying is that was she basically covering her own potential criminal exposure?
I think everyone was.
The way she did, she then couldn't become herself part of a wider RICO charging.
Right, and you testify. In other words, we used John Gotti. John Gotti got indicted. I was the underboss. I got indicted as well. No matter what I said.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I think even though Sammy ratted, I think Sammy was most of the brains behind Gotti. I think if Sammy ran the whole fucking shit, the mafia wouldn't have been as badly off as they were with Gotti. And I get why, a small part of me gets why Sammy flipped. Because Gotti put a hit out on him. But Sammy made that family a lot of fucking money. Sammy the Bull, people shit on him and call him a rat and shit. I've done a lot of research on Sammy the Bull. If Sammy the Bull wasn't part of the mafia, he'd probably be a fucking zillionaire. He'd still be a millionaire. The dude makes fucking dough. If you go back and watch some shit on the Gottis and on Sammy the Bull, that dude made more fucking money and fucking tried to keep a low profile. He was pretty old school about shit. Is he a good guy? I mean, he did some horrible shit. I'm not trying to justify anything he did. But if he did it in the right way, he would have been fucking loaded. If he was just a regular business dude, he probably would have made more. I'm not trying to fucking, like I said, I'm not trying to fucking make excuses for the guy or paint him in a better light. I'm just being real. It's a shame. It's kind of a shame obviously it's a shame he went down that path, because the dude made fucking dough. He could have made dough without even being crooked. He could have made dough without it. He's not a fucking dummy.
I was RICO as well, so they too could understand the RICO. Now there was captains and lower level guys who were in the family. They're all getting indicted. That's RICO. You're after the whole organization. It's not a single person. That's not a RICO.
Exactly.
Not one man. He's not a whole organization.
And do you think maybe, Sammy, that Cassie Ventura, as Young Jock is suggesting, she may have seen the way it was all going and thought, I better get in here and protect myself. And if I accuse him and get immunity, I can't then get caught up in any wider charging.
Probably. And then you take, a lot of women now in some of these cases that are coming up. Years ago, you had the Me Too movement. Women had a tough time to survive. Then it changed with the Me Too movement, and then they became more aggressive. Now they come out doing things, and then they want to sue. So it's about money. And then they want to testify and put the guy in prison besides. So you have, from one extreme, we went to another extreme. Because she's a woman, we got to believe her. Even though she was part of the whole thing, she had these love letters and notes. I mean, he didn't, he beat her up one time in the hallway. That was a mistake. He lost his temper. He could have hit her and beat her worse. He was frustrated. He did what he did. That's a crime. He could have been on that one particular crime or certain things, but not everything that they brought against him. And it failed. It failed.
It definitely failed. Young Jock, I interviewed Big Homie a few days ago, and he said this.
I know if he walks, I'm going to be target number one, which is fine. I'm used to that. It's kind of exciting for me.
He left the country, left America, Big Homie. He's Diddy's former bodyguard, because he believes that Diddy may exact some kind of revenge on him. What do you feel about that?
Well, I think that he's worried because maybe he was lying to hurt Diddy.
Right.
And now Diddy's going to get out, and he's got a problem. But the guy you had on just before, he's walking around. He was a government witness. He told the truth. He's not worried about Diddy. This guy did what he said and did. He was lying, and he has a conscience. He's worried about Diddy coming out, and he's got money, and maybe he's worried about his health right now.
Young Jock, what do you think of that?
I definitely could see his concerns. You know what I'm saying? And Sammy, even if let's say he didn't lie. Let's say he didn't lie. The fact that he's giving up all of this information, which some of this information is kind of like, what if it wasn't really this bad? But because I'm giving up this particular information, it makes it look that bad. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'll give you a perfect example. If something happened between two adults in a single space, and it's just two adults, it's bad, right? We saw the video where he and Cassie, this fight. Everybody talk about the video. It was bad, right?
And he has done it. He had done it before, just to be clear.
But had a child been present, that would make it even worse, right?
10 times worse.
So what I'm saying is, so Big Homie may have been giving up certain information that made these scenarios appear to be even worse. You know what I'm saying? It's just like right now, if you talked about murder, let's say murder happened at night. You kind of expect it to happen at night. But when people say it happened in broad daylight, it amplifies, it magnifies the whole overall situation. So I think Big Homie probably said some things that may have made situations worse that he didn't have to say, embellishing somewhere. And the moment you embellish the truth, as Sammy said, it's a lie. So I agree with you on that. And I just know that, some people, when you've run with certain people, when you've run with certain people and you know what they could be capable of, or you realize what they've gotten away with, then you might be in clear and present danger. I'm not saying that he's going to be coming out trying to do anything to anybody. I'm pretty sure right now, all he wants to do is get back to his safe place, take a shower in his own tub, get back to his kids, and try try to get back to his regularly scheduled programming. But we all know as adults that the regularly scheduled programming will definitely be edited, to say the least.
And also, I mean, I would say,
it's not going to be the same thing.
And Young Jock, I mean, this is going to have a profound effect, this case, on the whole world of music, isn't it? And in particular, hip hop and rap and everything. I mean, isn't this going to change people's behavior probably irrevocably?
Value of having a partner is huge. Finding someone you can trust is what really builds the business from the base.
I think so. And I think it's for the better, though, Pierce. Let me say this, because for one, I think that you opened the eyes to a lot of possibilities. Now, first and foremost, let's say that. So for one, let's say a guy who's been emulating the same behavior for however long, he didn't see nothing wrong with it. Like, man, I'm a boss. I'm not bringing. I like to do freaky stuff with my lady. And when I go to these cities, I can't just have anybody pulling up. So I'm gonna go with someone who I've already taken through a vetting process. We've gotten to know this person. We've done business with them, having issues. So you continue to do business with this person. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, how do we get into a place where it's no longer prostitution or sex trafficking? Because this is the person I like, but I want to make sure they're compensated for their time. Because if you take a woman in and you say, hey, I'm gonna take care of you, and all you gotta do is come and be a kept woman, is that not prostitution or is that prostitution? It's associated costs with it. So I think there's a lot of things, and the fact that he wasn't found guilty on those, then this may help in the future, because it kind of comes off like a cheat sheet, because now they don't have this situation of case law that they can reference back to and find people like other celebrities that you spoke of who may be living a kind of similar lifestyle. Right. You know, you fly a chick in, you might not be paying for sex, but there's a cost involved. That's why I said prostitute and not a prostitute. Yes. Because if you do it for a fee, then it's professionally done. So it's a professional prostitute. Yes. You just do it for a cost. You know, right now, if I take you out to eat, baby, I'm not giving you the money directly for sex. But if we end up having sex later that night, it's almost like I gave you money for sex indirectly.
Yeah. Sammy, how long do you think Diddy's going to get in prison for? I mean, there's a maximum of 10 years on both counts of bringing prostitutes across state lines. Very unlikely he gets that. What do you think he'll end up with?
Well, here's what I think is going to happen. I think the judge is going to give him bail. He beat the serious charges.
Well, he didn't get bail. We know that.
Almost a year. He was packing up to turn himself in when they told him he was going to be arrested. The cops jumped the gun and arrested him, so he didn't run the first time. And I think the charges are not that extreme. He deserves bail unless they want to, overdo it because of the publicity. He deserves bail. He'll have some conditions. And I think if the judge gives him bail, they're not going to double up those sentences, like 10 years one, 10 years on the other one, running concurrently.
That's what I think too.
Following the law, he probably won't do that. He may give him the flat 10 on the whole thing. And if he doesn't give him bail, which he deserves right now, then he's probably going to double those 10s up, and he might wind up with 20. That almost tells you what the judge is thinking and what's gonna happen.
That's what I was thinking. The judge not giving him bail, this judge might drop the fucking hammer on him and give him 10 years concurrent or 20 years total. Sammy just said he can do whatever he wants. Or you could say, you know what? You did a year. That's why I left you in fucking jail, waiting for this fucking sentencing. You've done a year. See you later. That could happen too. It's a lot of things that could happen. Like Diddy's still not in the clear. But one way or another, he's not doing life most likely.
In my opinion.
But could he get a much smaller sentence? I mean, 10's the maximum. Could it be? I mean, it doesn't seem on the face of it that it's a very serious conviction.
But it'll embarrass the judge, the whole country, the legal system. They're going to push for at least a 10 or something like that. They want to get their hunk. They can't look away. They're already disgraced. They don't want to walk away totally scot-free. And even if he gets 5 or 8 year sentence, and he's in a year already, he'll do another 5 or something. And this time when he goes in prison, he's going to be fine. He's going to have guys who want to protect him because he's got money, take care of him, whatever. So he'll be fine all the way around. And but it's up to the judge what he does with this bail.
Right.
He deserves a bail. I think most people would give him a bail. He don't face a lot of time. He's been in the can. He hasn't done anything wrong. The jury spoke, and the charges are bullshit. So step in.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Sammy the Bull and Young Jock. An unusual pairing for a panel on Uncensored, but you were both terrific. Thank you both very much indeed.
Hey, you made us make friends. I'm going to be singing with him on the next video.
Hey, be my guest.
I might even join in. We could probably have a hit on our hands. Thank you both very much. I appreciate it.
No pun intended. Fucking Pierce Brosnan. Yeah, we could have a hit on our hands. Fucking nuts. Please like, share, subscribe. What's up, everyone? What do you guys think of this Diddy trial? Sorry, my fat ass is chewing the rest of a chicken wing. All I've been eating is fucking chicken. Trying to get this weight off. Thank God for fucking low carb and calorie buffalo sauce. Holy shit, I'm gonna turn into a fucking chicken. So what do you guys think about everything going on? What do you think is gonna happen with the sentencing? The judge gonna lay the hammer down or what? He wasn't granted bail. Only got charged for 2 or 5 charges. Excuse me. Maybe the judge is playing hardball. Maybe the judge is playing hardball. Hard to say. He could be trying to get him to just wape up this charge quickly, too. In my opinion, it can go one of 2 ways. One way is the judge is going to pretty much give him close to the max. Reason why I believe that is the judge hasn't released him yet. Or 2, he's going to get anywhere from probation to 2 to 5 years. Yeah, I could see something like that. I don't think he's going to see 20. And even if the judge gives him 20 or 10 concurrently, he's still going to appeal. So it's not written in stone. And I think the judge might consider that. The judge might consider that in his decision. And if he think like the judge isn't supposed to have an opinion, really, he's just going to go based on law. So I don't know if Diddy reaches the maximum. But we've seen judges do shit like this. We've seen judges do shit like this. Look at that OJ case. When he robbed that guy for his Heisman that he sold. Went back and got the Heisman and robbed him. That judge gave him the max sentence. Now, it could be because he fucking robbed him and did horrible shit to the guy and scared the fuck out of him. When the guy had obtained the Heisman legally. The judge could have also thought OJ got away with murder. Charged him for that shit. With this charge. Hindsight's 20/20. Yeah, And the defense, they're not the defense. The prosecution given Diddy's defendant, Diddy's co-conspirators immunity. Fuck this trial up. Because none of them talked bad about him or said the shit that was needed. There was 2 co-conspirators. That should be enough for RICO, technically. That he conspired to do things with several different people. Well, if you give immunity to 2 of them, and then they go up on the stand and say none of the shit happened, even though you gave them fucking immunity, no matter what they say in the jury's eyes, like, you gave them immunity, so they're not part of it. I think it gave the jury this perception like these people aren't part of it. They got immunity. They're still co-conspirators. I think that the fucking prosecution and the jury did a terrible job. And I also don't, playing devil's advocate, guys got a lot of money. Who knows if they reached out to people? You never freaking know. I want to check this video out because this lady drives me nuts. And every time these assholes like her get exposed and I'm doing a live, I love to check it out. Kathy Griffin appears unrecognizable in new vampire photos. Trump derangement syndrome kills. We gotta check this out. This broad's special. Not in a good way. Not in a good way.
I took a certain photo all of a sudden.
The term in the title PTSD is not used lightly. No. Because you have survived so much.
What's up, guys? Benny. There's an old Ronald Dahl quote that goes like this: those that are twisted, wicked, hideous, and ugly on the inside will guaranteed inevitably become twisted, wicked, and ugly on the outside. I mean, jeez, dude. Look at what the hell's happened to Hollywood. Wipe away these 7 pounds of makeup and all of the lighting, and you get just an absolute orc of a creature. I don't even know how to qualify this. But let's talk about this for just a moment.
What a mess.
It wasn't so long ago that Kathy Griffin was riding high. She had glossy magazine covers and Netflix specials and was a permanent co-host and anchoress on CNN. Of course, then she beheaded Trump. And even CNN had to fire her because she's such a lunatic.
She's a fucking
CNN
cunt.
fires Kathy Griffin over gruesome and hideous photo.
She's a massive
said that
cunt.
she went too far even for the libs at CNN. So Kathy Griffin, as you used to know her, no longer exists.
Whack
after
job.
this horrific crash out. She went on to actually apologize to Donald Trump, something that is long forgotten.
It's me, Kathy Griffin. I sincerely apologize. I am just now seeing the reaction of these images. I'm a comic. I crossed the line. I moved the line, then I crossed it. I went way too far. The image is too disturbing. I understand how it offends people. It wasn't funny. I get it. I've made a lot of mistakes in my career. I will continue. I ask your forgiveness.
If you're trying to be a comic and that's your thing, it's okay to make fun of whatever you want if you're a real comic. She's not a real comic. Real comics don't get involved in politics that heavily. Even Rogan. I know he was into comedy and shit. He shouldn't be as heavily involved either, because you make fun of everything. If your job is to make jokes and shit And I get you can provoke thought and whatnot, but I kind of laugh when I see, even though Rogan isn't 100% comic because of his podcast and shit, like if he ever came up with some fucking stupid foul shit and was okay with it, I would feel the same way. Like, well, dude, if you're gonna be making jokes about presidents dying and shit, you might want to talk politics so much. But this woman talks politics constantly, and then now is gonna hide behind comedy for it. It's all she's known for is supposedly being funny. I never found her very funny. She always kind of fucking irked me.
Down the image, going to ask the photographer to take down the image, and I begged for your forgiveness. I went too far.
She begs and she went too far, and she apologizes to Trump and everybody. After she lost everything, now she's getting down on her knees, groveling and apologizing. Well, where was Kathy Griffin exactly just a day ago? This same Kathy Griffin, this is less than 10 years ago. Here's Kathy Griffin.
She was showing pictures of Trump and other people's heads decapitated. I don't want to show it and get in trouble.
Posting on her TikTok another beheaded President Trump, along with a couple of other billionaires, including Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and there, of course, is beheaded Donald Trump all over again. Now it looks like a crocheted version. And Kathy Griffin smiling and smirking at the camera.
Douchebag.
That's all, says Kathy Griffin. Is that all, though? No, it certainly is not. Kathy Griffin, you see, is just one of these creatures who you can't quite pin down. You look at her and you're like, there's something evil going on here.
Yeah,
There's
she looks like an evil
bitch. Doesn't
bitch.
make any sense. She's like reptilian, kind of shapeshifter. Nobody's skin is supposed to work like this. What the hell is this even? It looks like a mask, right? And then you realize that,
Lunatic.
oh, my goodness, it is a mask. Something's horribly wrong here.
What's up with her face?
Filter that's being used. This is like a totally different creature. What the hell is this? And these are recent videos and photos of Kathy Griffin, including this one, that of course had some major It the Clown comparisons, but nothing could compare us for the totally undead Kathy Griffin that just appeared. Kathy Griffin steps out with wild natural hair while wearing her own merch in LA.
Yeah, she looks healthy.
Kathy Griffin has appeared
super healthy
to totally absorb the full.
This is why I tell you guys this is why I don't talk politics all the time. This is what happens to you when you get too fucking crazy about that shit. I really believe it. These people get so fucking crazy about politics and nonsense. This is what happens. She's unnoticeable. Either that or she's super sick and not saying anything about it. I don't even fucking know. That looks like someone that's ready to pass away. I'm sorry. I hope she's not sick. Even though she's a fucking lunatic. I wouldn't wish it on her. She hasn't done as much bad shit as Biden.
The clown comparison. Look at this. I mean, what? Oh, I'm going to just start by saying, is this even
she looks
the
like
same
it.
person?
No
as
doubt.
This? Like, is this even the same person? What is this, like, demonic shapeshifter? What the hell is that? You're not having a field day with this one. Kathy Griffin showing off a new shirt, too, that says, laugh your head off. Photo of her with the Trump head, right? Got it. Oh, it's so edgy. So edgy. It's like what Carrot Top would look like if you got addicted to meth and lived inside of a trailer or tent, maybe a lean-to in Santa Monica. Oh my gosh, what?
If you give her a beard and shit, she would probably look like fucking Liver King's dad. How bad he looked. Going after Rogan and shit. What the fuck is wrong with this world? No wonder why I fucking... No wonder why I struggle with how the world is so much. Look at the fucking shit going on around us. Fucking nuts. Yikes.
Hey, is she half bald? Yeah, I mean, that is kind of crazy here, right? Like, what's going on with that hairline? Is that real? I don't know. This is what a horror movie is from. What horror movie is this from? Go here. Horror movie. There. Oh, we all float down here, says Kathy Griffin, from inside of the sewer.
No doubt.
It's pretty accurate right there. Jeez. Kathy Griffin's Gollum. Not bad.
Iron Maiden.
The famous Iron Maiden album cover. Not bad either. There you go. What the hell happened to Kathy
what
Griffin?
the fuck happened is
Trump
right.
Arrangement Syndrome, I guess. Kathy Griffin in her heyday with all of her sequins and her makeup. And then this is, guess what happens when you live a twisted life of hate.
What the fuck happened to
New
her?
images of Kathy Griffin. So the end stages of Trump derangement syndrome. Kathy Griffin shocks social media
What
users
the
again
fuck?
with unrecognizable walking in LA. Many are saying the comparisons are just striking. It looks like she really has leaned into the It the Clown vibe. She's totally.
I don't get it.
It's very, very Pennywise. Like Penny.
It makes you wonder how long they fake how people look. Like, did they brush her up constantly to make her look better? Has she had like a fucking traumatic meltdown because of Trump? I don't know. But it make you fucking wonder.
Wise or It. It has the same hairline. Same hairline. This photo is Kathy Griffin, and it's real. OMG. Yeah, so, again, we're looking forward to Kathy Griffin getting a knock at the door.
How's that the same person?
Maybe that shouldn't happen because she is clearly begging for this for promotional purposes. Maybe she just, like, is... Maybe what we should ask for is that Kathy Griffin gets the help that she needs. She's clearly somebody who's in desperate desire to be psychologically locked up. She, in fact, admitted this on The View.
It's so much career cancellation and a federal investigation over the Trump photo controversy.
Yes, no-fly list,
Yeah.
Interpol list, stopped at every airport, the whole thing.
Yeah, you also, and none of these are small. A pill addiction, a suicide attempt, lung cancer.
And I was on a psych hold for 3 days. And I know you can tell why. But I was on a psych hold, so it was like I was like Britney and Kanye combined.
Wow.
And I was like, I walked into my own act.
Wow.
Psych hold for 3 days.
But you also...
But now I'm in recovery. I'm sober 3.5 years.
That's amazing.
Sure you are. I think she's fucking strung out again from the last pitches. And I think they put a ton of make. Look at that face right there. They plaster her with makeup. There's no doubt. Even back then.
Maybe...
Probably a wig, too.
If you're that disturbed, you shouldn't be in the public arena. Maybe it's time to go off like the rest of us and live like happy and quiet lives. Find religion or family or something that like actually gives you
strange
purpose.
shit.
The scariest face with the one at the end, yeah. Kathy Griffin is sick and repulsive. She needs mental help. Reopen the asylums. That's what everybody is saying. She never recovered from this. Kathy Griffin breaks down and says Donald Trump broke me. That's right.
Donald Trump broke
Sick
her.
and repulsive individual, Kathy Griffin, before and after Donald Trump. Don't think TDS is real? Don't live a life of twisted hatred and wickedness, right? Like, kind of have a laugh. There's people I don't like in the political arena. We spend a lot of our days like talking about it, but it's not like I take that stuff home with me and I let it like define my life forever.
No shit.
And I like take it out on my kids or anything. You know, it's like not like that. You know, you honestly, you gotta dump all that stuff, leave it at work, and like go lock in with your family and your faith. And
especially when you're a millionaire.
Worth living. This is what happens when you have none of that. It's a cautionary tale. That's for sure. Okay, pray that Kathy Griffin gets the help that she needs. Or that maybe she's just auditioning for a horror movie role. Could be a career resurgence.
Fucking mess.
That's it. We're back.
That girl from fucking Disney had another breakdown too. The girl that played Snow White. I forgot to show you guys that one the other day. Walking around outside. All these rich people dress like they're broke. Like it's the new fucking style. I don't get it. Like, the only reason I ever wore jeans with holes in them was because they were old fucking jeans that I had worn so long they had holes in them. Nowadays, it's like the hip style, the hipster look. The new rich look is to look as much of a fucking bum as you can look like. Buy their clothes already ripped up and fucked up. I never understand that shit either. But who am I? Who am I? I'm just a fucking degular guy trying to figure it out. There's not many degular people anymore. I think that's the problem that we run into, especially the people that hang out with me on this channel. It's kind of why we kind of struggle sometimes, I think. I guess maybe I'm speaking for myself a bit too, but everything, like all this sexual debauchery and all this hate and all this, I'm gonna puke, nasty stuff that is becoming acceptable shows the deterioration of society. And I know we're all trying to do better and trying to stop it. And I like having a good time. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against titty bars and fucking having fun and getting some booty and shit. But the shit that's okay now is on a whole nother level. When we were younger, people my age, if you ever made a fucking threat, whether you were joking or not, and said you were going to hurt somebody, you go to fucking jail. Nowadays, it's like totally fucking accepted. If you show a fucking picture of a president's head beheaded, you go into fucking jail. Not anymore. You push hatred when I was younger, you go to fucking jail. Not anymore. And that's why I think Diddy got off too. I think that jury was dumb as fucking rocks. And they probably didn't understand anything to do with the legal system, anything to do with the vocabulary when it was explained to them. If it even was. You know? Fucked up. I think it's fucked up. I need to read into the law more and do some more research to get a larger grasp. But I don't think Diddy's totally fucking innocent. And I think Diddy should do some time. I don't know if he should do life or 25 years, but yeah, it's supposed to be illegal to burn the flag. You see that shit everywhere. I don't fucking get it. I think the internet is a huge part of it. Media in general. There's not enough people on the internet trying to push positivity and being good people. There's too many people that are pieces of shit that have influence. And this is what happens. This is what happens. This is what happens when society fucking crumbles. People just go, well, whatever, not my problem. And I get it to a degree. I get it because you can't get consumed with everything either. But it's going to hit a point eventually where people had enough. It will hit a point. When that point is, I don't know. But it will hit a point eventually. Trust me. It will hit a point eventually. There's no fucking question about it. It's just when. And the longer it takes to hit it, the less people there'll be that are old school. So if they can make it,
Introducing Iron Beam, a bright choice.
The longer it gets stressed out without people taking a stand, the easier it will be for this shit to become normalized. Yeah, it's totally numbed everyone. And people, like I said, I've talked about this with everything. People are so fucking struggling. They're numb to everything nowadays. Like, up until a year, like the last year or so of my life, I can totally relate. Totally fucking relate. Like, from when I was born till now, the way the world is fucking, it's much worse now. I don't care what anyone says. People go, oh no, it's worse now. I mean, oh, it was worse then. Then why are there cameras everywhere nowadays? Why don't people let their kids play in the street and go run around? I was never home. I was given an area I could be in. And my parents would check that area. And if I wasn't in that fucking area, I was fucked. And when I asked permission to go to a different area and they said no, I generally listened. And if my brother didn't listen and went, and I came home without him, I was fucked. Hell no, Jet. I'd wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning in the summer. We had to be out of the house at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Go play. Go play. Maybe go home for lunch. Maybe. There wasn't no fucking, nah. I was the same way. And take your brother with you, whether you want to take him or not. My brother sometimes was a fucking pain. He was 3 years younger than me. It's not all his fault because he was younger. But it was a fucking nuisance sometimes because there was shit we were doing he couldn't do. Want to go climb up in a fucking tree, want to go fucking do crazy shit that we were allowed to run around the beach. We knew how to swim. We knew how to do shit. But sometimes my brother would get douchey and I don't want to do this and this and that. Well, go the fuck home. I'm going to tell mom you sent me home. Well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, fucking such a different time to grow up. I fucking hated it, Jet. Hated it. Like, couldn't even have my own friends by myself. Ever. It used to bug the fuck out of me. Especially when he got whining and bitching and moaning. Like, dude, you want to hang out with the big dogs? What the fuck? You want to hang out with your older brother and his friends that are older? You're going to be doing older shit. It was not fun. A lot of the times. Then he'd go home fucking whining and I'd have to go home and get a fucking talking to or a beating. It's probably why me and my brother aren't close to this fucking day. In all reality. Fucking got the ball and chain, my brother. I shouldn't say it, but it's the fucking truth. It's not like we were a year apart. 3 years is a lot. Especially when you're little. You got a fucking 6-year-old hanging out with 10-year-olds. Fucking 6-year-old can't do shit. Especially if he's soft. Just saying. It's the fucking truth. Yeah, me too, Jet. It was fuck. And then if the little fuck gave me an attitude and wanted to go do what he wanted to do, I'm fucked for it. And then I hit him, I'm fucked for it. And he don't listen, I'm fucked for it. So I'm running around the neighborhood half raising my fucking brother. Which I shouldn't be responsible for. Yeah, I know, Jet. I've been fucking, you know how many whoopings I got from my dad when my mom worked nights because my brother wouldn't listen? He'd be pussy all day long, and then it'd be time to go a mile up the road to go get a pizza. And he'd be like, fuck you, I'm going. I don't care what he said. I'm going. I go home like I'm supposed to. Where's your brother? Oh, he went up the road to go get a pizza at such and such a place. You stupid fuck, I told you guys not to go up there. Get in the fucking truck. Go up there, get my fucking brother. I get in fucking trouble for it. He just called my brother names. He probably knew my brother couldn't take a good fucking beating. In all honesty. In all honesty, he probably knew. Oh, the other one already says I beat the shit out of him. Might as well keep the other one where he don't fucking get hit and say Nate's full of shit. Who the fuck knows, but you never know. You never fucking know. These fucking kids nowadays, forget about it. Forget about it. But yeah, we looked into the Diddy shit a little bit. What are you guys doing for the 4th or the 3rd? Anything good going on? I think there's fireworks in my neighborhood tomorrow night. I might step out of the neighborhood and go hang with Ura. I got to figure out a few things if I'm going to do so. Yeah, exactly, Mark. And that was my father's shit, too. You think you got it bad? You should see what my dad did to me. And his dad was bad. My dad told me stories about they had a big paper route and it was snowing one time and he bought my dad some bell bottoms or something that didn't fit him right. And my dad didn't like how they fit him and he was getting cold and they were fucking with him and they hurt. He made my dad deliver fucking newspapers in his underwear. Or his long johns, I don't know. He said his underwear. So I tend to think underwear. I don't know if he meant long underwear or not. Either way, pretty fucking embarrassing. And I feel bad my father went through that. Either way. But that doesn't give you the fucking okay to just minimize what you do to your own children. It doesn't make, just because it's less doesn't mean it's okay. You know? Yeah, I don't know, dude. My dad's father was a motherfucker, dude. My dad's father lived in the projects, dude, and hustled and did a lot of foul shit. And he was he might have been connected to organized crime. I don't know. I don't know all the stories. I wasn't told a lot of them. I remember being little and catching parts of it here and there. My father's father had a gumara. He was not faithful to my grandmother, my father's mother. He was abusive. He died with millions of dollars living in the projects in a high rise. There was a huge dispute over the money to this day. And there was a lot of cash found. And it's still in fucking probate to this day. Over $1 million in probate to this day. Wild. He used to take my dad to card games, make him sit out in the car and shit. If he won, he'd be fucking really good to my dad. If he lost, he'd be horrible. Half the time, he'd be plastered. In a bad section of town, too. Part of Providence called Oneyville. Oneyville, Silver Lake, Federal Hill. All mafia shit back in the day. But died with millions of dollars tied up in probate, living in the projects. And I think his gumata that he left my grandmother for, he had a couple women. And the money never went. Some of the money went to one of them. The rest of the money is still held by the state to this day. I doubt it will ever be allowed to be claimed because a lawyer came to my family telling us about it, but we couldn't, the judge wouldn't let us have it. Probably because it was taken fucking illegal. It was probably because it was made illegally. A lot of it. But from what I know about my grandfather on my father's side, he worked several jobs too. All the time. Like he wasn't just like, he was involved in shady shit, but he had several jobs as well. And I'm sure the amount of jobs he had didn't equate to him saving that much money. He worked at Gorham's for years. Gorham's made jewelry. And back in the day, Providence was like a big jewelry manufacturing city. Not just costume jewelry, but gold, silver, gemstones, diamonds. And supposedly, he left Gorham's. Never got caught, never got arrested. But there was a large amount of precious metals that were stolen from Gorham's, and they thought it was him, but they couldn't prove it. And my great grandfather got him the job, and he fucked my great grandfather over by stealing it, and they could never prove it, but it's not too hard to tell what happened. They just couldn't prove it. They couldn't fucking prove that he did it. And he fucking, that was another thing he did to my grandmother's family. It was the beginning of the end when that shit happened, I'm sure. But you would think people would behave differently when they come from abusive, fucked up places like that, but it's just not the case. And yeah, my family didn't see any of that money. One of his whores, or his longtime girlfriend, got some of it. But there's still like well over $1 million that no one's ever going to see. Wild. I never had it anyway. It doesn't really matter. I never met the guy. My father's cousins I get along with well. My father's sister, don't know her very well. She's been married a bunch of times. One of her sons turned out well. The other one was in the military doing well. I don't know what happened. I don't wish bad for him. I just don't have a relationship with him since we were kids. She ended up with whatever my grandmother ended up with, which was pretty much just the house. And, you know, she had a fucked up life, I'm sure, too. She didn't get it like my father did. But I'm sure she saw some of it. I'm sure it wasn't too fun for her either. Yeah, I don't talk to too much of my family either, Jet. I don't either. I really just try to worry about my mother as much as I can. I don't worry about it too much. You know. I find it funny too, because people tell my mother they call me and shit. They don't fucking call me. They don't text me. I used to call all of them and text them. I don't bother anymore. Get sick of being the one always reaching out and never getting a response back. Every once in a while they might answer. And I get it. People are busy. But you're not that fucking busy all the time. And you're not that busy where you can't give me a phone call back. Especially when I done nothing wrong to you. Yeah, I agree, Jet. I agree as well. It is what it is. I just, you know, I got to get back to the way I used to be. Like, I was really hurt about what happened with my ex. You know, I'm still working through losing my dad. It's been almost a year. It'll be a year in August. August 12th. It's the same day she split up with me. And I'm getting back to normal slowly but surely. That shit took me by surprise. Both things. And people come around asking like they want to fucking... They don't want to help me. They want to critique my life. And I can't be bothered with that shit. If you want to help, help. If you want to just fucking talk shit and give your opinion, I don't want to hear it. Yeah, me too, Joe. I got rid of Facebook for that same reason. Send like 30 people invites to a party or we're having a shindig. Call them, leave messages, tell them. They don't fucking show up. I go to theirs, they don't come to mine. What the fuck? That's not how friendship works or family works. Exactly, Mark. Exactly. Can only argue the same fucking shit so many times. No doubt. No doubt about it. Ugh. Yeah, I probably have a handful of friends still that I'm tight with that will call me within a day or two. People get busy. I understand people can't call you right away and people get tied up. I'm not like that when it comes to that. It's when people don't fucking reach out for years and you call them here and there to say hello, see how you're doing. Even after they've done some fuck shit on top of it. Eventually you get resentful. Eventually you get resentful. You know? Or you help someone when they're down and out, and then you're down and out. There's no one to be fucking found. That shit happens a lot too. And that's the type of shit that makes people not reach out and help each other or others. I don't know how many times I fucking helped people, and then when I needed help, no one to be found. hundreds of times. Look at when you go to move. If you go to move and you hit your friends up, say, hey, can you help me for an hour or two? Even if you offer to pay them, half the time they won't show up. You want to tell who your fucking friends are? Go move and see who shows up. They're probably a real friend. Probably a real friend. That's one thing I learned. My brother helped me move. I don't know if it was to be a real friend or to get me the fuck away from my parents because I was ready to buy the house. Who knows? I think it was help to get me away from my parents, which I was willing to do anyway, but I think he had an ultimatum. I think my brother has an ultimatum in certain ways, with certain things. With certain things. Or he has a thing against me because I was sick as a kid, where he thinks I'm like this golden child that just gets treated so much differently because I was sick. And I've made mistakes. My parents have helped me too. It's not just that. But my parents have helped him also. He also forgets the cars I handed down to him. Even if they were pieces of shit, he didn't have to buy a car when he was younger. I gave him every fucking car for a while. And just be like, let Jay have it. Oh, it's a piece of shit. Well, you know what? It runs. You don't got to buy one. You don't got to buy one. I bought a piece of shit. I think it was a Buick Somerset for like $200. It was a fucking hunk of shit. It was so ugly and such a shitty blue, worn out color. The fucking thing started without a key. I paid $200 for it. I think my mom let me borrow $125. I put up $75 and bought it. That fucking thing lasted forever. 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 It was like the perfect car for someone fucking learning to drive. Perfect fucking car. What? Who cares what happens to it? Of course not. It's the same thing when people pass away, unfortunately, too. I saw it when my cousin passed away, and I saw it when my father passed away. There's a lot of support at the beginning. Give it a week. Give it a fucking week. It's gone. It's over. It's over. That's why I have animosity towards one of my uncles as well. Because his daughter got unalived in a car accident. And I went to counseling with him and his wife. I went to church with him. I tried to be around and do yard work and hang out and do positive shit with him and my aunt and my younger cousin and try to like just be around and just having someone there. And I'll never forget, I was fucking trying to get clean off of pain pills and snorting heroin because my doctor wouldn't give me the pain pills anymore. And I called him up. I was living in a fucking tent in someone's yard. I paid him rent to leave my fucking tent in their yard. And I still was working. I still had my boat. I still had my car. It's just I had nowhere to live. And I was still making money, but I couldn't afford rent with everything going on. And I called my uncle, just like trying to have someone to talk to. He's like, I don't know what to tell you. Figure it out, and hung up. And even after that, I forgave him. And then he did some other things recently that just fucking, not 100% his fault, but did not fucking sit well with me. And it's like, what the fuck, dude? And then he pops over here to see my mother, and I gotta hear different shit about what he's doing with my old boat motor that I didn't really want to part with, and critiquing my life and what I need to do with my life. And motherfucker, if you worried about my life so much, you wouldn't only be around every fucking couple months when you stop in. You would have picked up your phone all them fucking times. You wouldn't have told me to figure it out. Living in a fucking tent, just wanting someone to talk to. Fucking dirtbags. Dirtbags. And even after that, I still helped him fix up his house. It would have cost him fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars. If not hundreds, tens. Tens of thousands of dollars if he paid fucking contractors to come in and help him. I'm helping him for $100 a day. Just trying to be a good fucking nephew during COVID. Like, it was right before I got hired by the post office. I'm working fucking 8 to 10 hours a day for $100 helping you out. Good luck finding someone that knows how to do anything carpentry wise or labor, letting you pay them $100 a day. And then we're like halfway done with it. Not even half, more than halfway. 3/4 of the way done. I'm going to hire someone to come in and do the rest. Thanks for all your help. See you later. And while we're doing this, he's telling me we're going to start a business. We're going to do all this shit. I want to do something together, working on the water together. I still have my fishing license. Then before I know it, I get hired by the fucking postal service. Me and my dad have a falling out. And he's buying the motor off the back of my boat. Well, me and my dad weren't talking. And he didn't need it. He had the money to go buy one somewhere else. He bought a brand new money for probably what I owed on it. And I was behind on payments because my checks I was sending to my father weren't going through. And he just fucking sold it to him for cash and paid off the loan. And I got left with a boat with no motor. And then he comes by and tells me, oh, you got all that gear out there, laying out there. Why don't you find someone to sell it to? I go, you want to buy it? No, I don't need it. I go, why? You bought everything else. You should have just bought the boat and all the gear. What am I going to do with gear I can't use? Brand new motor goes for 15 grand. I don't got that money no more. It's like a gaslighting right in your face. Hey, why can't you figure it out? Well, I don't know, dude. I got a boat out there I can't use with no fucking motor. And all the gear to make the fucking money. People are fucked. People are fucked. That's why I don't deal with none of them. They know why. That's why when they leave and when I say it, they put their head down. Because they know they're fucking wrong. They know they're fucking wrong. Or they just gotta try and redirect some shit your way. That's not true. Yeah, that's because you're whatever. It's fucking wild. I could go on about it all day long. Go on about it all day long. And that's why you should never interfere with people's business. Blood's thicker than water. I don't interfere in people's lives. I don't think anyone should interfere in other people's lives like that. It's the worst fucking thing you could do. especially if it's fucking like a father-son situation. And that's what my uncle did. I go, well, uncle, I really don't want to sell the motor. And he's got issues with his own son. My cousin has issues. He has issues. We all have issues from my cousin getting killed. But never have I gotten in his business with his son. Not once have I ever got involved in my uncle's business with my cousin. But he has no problem getting involved in my business with my father, who's now passed away, and making business deals behind my back. Go figure. Go figure. And when my father was alive, my father used to fucking call him Greedy Gary. My father loved him and hated him at the same time. And my father was mad at me, and he got rid of it probably just because he had it. I get it. My father was not fucking perfect. He was a thick head. And that's why I wish I could get away too sometimes, Mark. If it wasn't for my mother, if it wasn't for fucking leaving my mother alone, I would. I feel horrible doing it. I feel horrible doing it. Because everyone says they're going to help her and everyone says they're going to do something and no one does shit. And before my father passed, when he was having all his heart problems, it was the same fucking thing. It was the same fucking thing. And I know people can't be there constantly. It's not the world we live in. I get it. But you can be there a little more than you fucking act like or offer. And I see right through fakeness. I see right through it. And people get mad. People get mad when I fucking see through it. Because I know when it's lackluster. I know when it's half-ass. I know when it's not fucking... I know when it's not really genuine or when it's not... I know when people aren't giving their best effort. And it bugs the fuck out of me. Bugs the fucking everlasting shit out of me. Like, I want to go out for the 4th. I don't feel right. We have like a massive fireworks show tomorrow night in my neighborhood. It's going to be like fucking 30,000 people down here. I got people asking me to go out doing things, having fun. My brothers and my aunts and uncles and everyone's going to be having a fucking blast. And I hate to say it like I'm stuck here, but I'm kind of stuck here. No one else is going to be here. It's going to be all people coming from the fucking inner city. My neighborhood's got crazy little fucks running around it. My neighborhood's not as bad as it used to be. It's still wild. It's still a holiday. People are going to be partying. I might make a video of it. If it's like it used to be, there'll be 15 to 20,000 people in a fucking little tiny beach tomorrow night. I might take a walk and go live. And it's probably going to be stupider than ever. I'll be shocked if it isn't. And I don't feel safe leaving her alone. I don't. Even on the 4th. I don't feel safe because we're in an area where there's a nice beach. There's a couple decent restaurants. And then some of the neighborhoods cleaned up. it's not nearly. When I was younger, it was worse down here, way worse. But at the same time, the cops think it's really nice down here now compared to what it used to be. But they don't recognize that all the people from the inner city come down here and go fucking crazy. And they do. Now, are they killing each other all the time? No. It's not always fucking violence. Although there is usually some violence. It's usually just partying, stupidity, people fucking not caring about people's property. People driving fast, people drinking and driving. You know, people doing drugs all over the place. There's families cooking out. You got some asshole coming out of the car, you know, blasting his music, parking on your lawn with 10 of his fucking homies. And they all smoking blunts, and you got your fucking little kids out there. That's not cool to me. Sorry, not sorry. And I don't mind weed and shit, but there's a time and a place. I don't think you should just be walking around doing it around little fucking kids and shit. Sorry, not sorry. Especially if I'm parking in front of someone's fucking property. So that's why I don't want to really fucking leave my mom home alone over the holiday. And it's rough. It's kind of rough. And I love her. I don't mean to make it sound like a chore, but it's like, fuck. You know? I want to have some fucking fun too. Yeah, Mr. Baseball Bat ain't the same as having a fucking gun nowadays, Jet. Maybe back in the day, baseball bat worked. Nowadays, you get your fucking head blown off. You know firsthand. You didn't even fucking do nothing wrong, you said. It's different. It's different now. Yeah, I'll do some streaming on the 3rd and 4th. I don't know what. Trying to get a hold of another one of my buddies to see what's going down. Ura wants me to go and hang out at some wild, fun parties. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to go. I would love to go, but I just feel fucked up. I feel fucked up to, you know, leave her alone. I would love to have you, Kai. I don't have anywhere to put you, man. Like, I don't have extra mattresses. I don't have fucking... I got to clean a room up if you need it. Like, I don't really have anywhere to put you, buddy. I'll hit you up and let you know. How about that? Like, I have a room and shit. I don't even know if I have an air, any fucking, like, I don't even have air conditioning for you. I got some air downstairs, but I only got one air conditioner upstairs. And it's gonna be fucking hot, dude. But if you really want to come up and fucking hang, I'll talk to my mother and see if there's a spot for you, how she feels about it. If not, if you want to get a fucking hotel or motel, you're more than welcome. That's on you if you want to go that route. And it's, trust me, if it was up to me, dude, you're in like Flynn. It's just, you know, I got to make sure my mom's comfortable with it too. But that would be dope. That would be fun. Then we can make some more moves. But, I don't know. I'll talk to her about it. So Diddy, Stuck in jail till sentencing. How much battery do I got? I don't got too much left. If are you gonna be up for a bit, Kai? If you're up for a bit, I'll hit you up. All right, I'll hit you up. You guys want to chat about anything else? Please like, share, subscribe if you haven't. The fuck are the Yankees doing? They're only one game up on the Blue Jays right now. Down 9-7, top of the 8th. Fucking Yankees are falling apart. Oh, I can only imagine. I got a feeling who it involves. I got a feeling who it involves. Really, Jet? Yeah, I didn't see too much about that shit. That whole thing was weird. It sounded like the media was trying to cover it up from the minute it was covered. The firefighter shooting. That sounded strange from the start. How did he plea already? I thought that shit just happened. I thought that shit just happened the other day. Aaron Judge just hit a homer. Tied it up 9-9, top of the 8th. Aaron Judge already got 31 homers. We're not even at the All-Star break. I'm going to start doing some baseball soon. And we can chat while we do the baseball game. Oh, yeah. That's not the guy that fucking opened fire on people. I know who you're talking about. That's not the same thing as the fucking guy you're talking about, I don't think. Unless he opened fire on fucking the firefighters, too. Yeah, Mark. Hopefully you got a good insurance adjuster. I saw a dude that was a roofer take a video of an insurance adjuster, and the insurance adjuster was saying the roof was fine. It was the way he was treating the shingles and that it was voided. And you got to be fucking careful, man. These insurance companies don't want to kick out dough for nothing. 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 Fucking Aaron Judge, 31st home run of the year. We just got Giancarlo Stanton back, too. I can't fucking wait. I think he hit a home run tonight as well. Or he's going to hit one right now. I didn't see a home run earlier. I think he hit one this at bat. Let's see. I hear you, Tiger. What are you doing for the 4th, Tiger? How you been? What is everyone doing for the 4th or the 3rd or the 5th? Whenever it's celebrated out by you. My city does it on the 3rd. Because they're probably too cheap to pay people to light off fireworks on the 4th. In all honesty. Nice. John Carlos Stanton walked. But I'm going to start doing some baseball games. If you guys have a baseball team you want me to cover, let me know. I'll do some of your baseball teams games. I'm a Yankees fan. I'll do some Red Sox games. I'll do whatever. You guys let me know what teams you're into. We'll cover some games. Check out some different shit. We got so long to wait for football. And I'm trying to fall in love with baseball again, but it's been tough. Maybe enjoying it and watching it, I'll fall back in love with it again. I fell back in love with hockey. Even though my Bruins suck, I fell back in love with hockey watching the Stanley Cup. Yeah, we watch college football. I don't watch it as much in the early season as I do down the stretch, but yeah, I watch college football. We covered almost every game during the college playoff last year. Live. I love doing live sports. It's fun to me. It's a lot of fun. I was thinking, someone told me I got to start taking my reaction videos and posting them in shorts. Like when we watch shit happen live. Someone emailed me the other day and said, dude, your reactions when certain things happen in sports are hilarious. And the stuff you say, you should stop making them into shorts. I think I'm gonna. It's not a bad idea. Yeah, there was some weird evidence with that shit. I don't know a whole lot about that trial yet. It's very fucking peculiar. Jazz Chisholm strikes out. I think Jazz Chisholm is super overrated. People love him. Sometimes he's great. Sometimes I could do without him. I don't know. I'm not crazy about him yet. A lot of people really like him. I'm not huge about him. Yeah, Nick Saban didn't want to deal with the NIL. The NIL is going to ruin college sports. Give it some time. This schools suing each other right now because schools are tampering with players. That shit is going to turn into such a mess. Oh shit, Jazz Chisholm singled. Runners out. Runners on first and second. Sorry guys, my teeth are killing me. I gotta take them out. Yeah, well with the NIL deal, you already know the deal, Jet. The people with the most money are going to do the best. Like, there's no cap with it. There's no limit, I don't think, on money that can be spent. We've talking about this at fucking nauseum. You know, they got to set some parameters with it. I don't think there's any limits. I could be wrong. I don't have the time or the energy to read through fucking 4,500 pages of bullshit, but it's definitely not helping the game as much as it's hurting it. And I think those kids should be paid something. Don't get me wrong. I think the kids that play college sports should be paid. The colleges make a ton of fucking money off them. I'm not saying they don't deserve something. I just don't know where you draw the line. And how you're allowed to transfer all the time. I don't think that's good. I don't think you should be able to transfer every year and just go play again and not sit out. you know, there's so many gray areas with it. It's definitely not doing. It's doing more bad than good, I would say. Yeah, I saw that. Finally, University of Pennsylvania said they will not allow men or trans to swim in female or male events, which is, I think, is the right move. I think it's the right move. I don't think it's fair to women that work their whole life that someone can just say I'm trans and go fucking compete against women. Damn it, the Blue Jays got out of the jam. Middle of the 8th, 9-9. But we're going to start covering some more baseball. I will try to stream tomorrow or the next day. Probably do something tomorrow night during the fucking fireworks. Kai, I will hit you up shortly. The rest of you guys, if you don't come and check out the lives over the next few days, have a happy 4th. I got a boogie. This camera's going to run out of battery any second. I will catch you guys mañana. If I don't catch you, happy 4th of July. Peace.